Stadium. It's AstroTurf track and field, the centerpiece of a 30-acre campus that was once a golf course. It's here that SMU and Bishops play for the Atlantic Bowl today. It is a sunny but cool Saturday afternoon, about 5 degrees Celsius, winds at about 30 kilometers an hour. We'll have to see what effect that has on the passing games of these two teams. Hi everybody, I'm Paul Meunier. Welcome to Husky Stadium. The atmosphere here electric as it is every Atlantic Bowl game. And you know, by midweek, organizers had sold as many tickets for this event as they had total attendance figures for last season. And I suppose that's because the local fans are hoping that the SMU Huskies can do what they couldn't do last year, and that is advance to the national championship. Going to be quite a day here. Watching the pregame bustle from above is Peter Young.
Thank you very much, Paul. It'll be my pleasure to call the play-by-play of today's football action. Perfect weather conditions, perfect field conditions, and the possibility of a classic football confrontation today because we have pass-happy St. Mary's against the great ground game of Bishops. Joining me in the broadcast booth, former CFL great Hall of Famer Russ Jackson. And Russ, as a football player, this is the type of day you dream of.
Well, Peter, Coach Breck of Bishops has said all week that he's tried to keep the offense simple for his rookie quarterback, Martell. And this puts a lot of pressure on his two running backs. He's got two experienced running backs back there who are going to have to do a lot of ball carrying. Keith Calley, who gained over 6.5 yards per carry, and Dennis Walker, almost 5 yards per carry, are going to have to do a lot of the work for that offense. On the other side, Scott Dunthorne, who leads probably the best linebacking core, is going to have to try and stop that running game and get the ball for probably the most exciting football player in college football today. That's Chris Flynn, the young quarterback for the Huskies. And Chris threw 21 touchdown passes. He ran for almost 500 yards, and he's the person they have to stop. Leading the best 7, I think, defensive players as a team is Leroy Blue, probably going to win the most outstanding defensive player award this year for the CIAU.
All right, folks, pop the popcorn and get ready to sit back and relax and join a great football game.
Well, people are still filing into Husky Stadium, anticipating a great game. As usual, the days leading up to the Atlantic Bowl are hectic. On Wednesday night, we had the AUAA nominees for Outstanding Player Awards, national awards that will be handed out later this week in Toronto. And last night, an open forum featuring the two head coaches. Maybe Ian Breck said it best when he admitted, we're both sitting here telling lies. It has been a week of fun, but today...
Welcome to Husky Stadium for the 27th Atlantic Bowl game. Presenting the starting defense for the Bishop Gaiters. Wearing number 30 at cornerback, Martin Haynes. At quarterback, number 30, Martin Haynes. At inside safety, number 11, Vic Gilmore. At number 49, at Rover, Derek Schumann. At inside safety, number 29, Doug Stamper. Cornerback, number 2, Claude Miton. At end, number 90, Mark Harris. At tackle, number 97, Derek Joseph. At nose guard, number 98, Chris Bailey. At tackle, number 61, Brian Morley. At end, number 95, Ray Bernard. At linebacker, number 50, Ron Lustier. And at linebacker, number 89, Leroy Blue. And head coach Ian Breck and the rest of the Bishop Gators. And now the starting offense for the St. Mary's Huskies. At center, number 68, Constant Nikolopoulos. Number 68, Nikolopoulos. At right guard, number 50, Louis Olsasher. At left guard, number 56, Mario Vanni. At right tackle, number 52, Richard McLean. At left tackle, number 62, Scott Nuttall. At slot back, number 15, Billy Stollard. At tight end, number 73, Brian Smith. At split end, number 70, Matt Nealon. At flanker, number 80, Ian McDonald. At fullback, number 32, Jody Hubert. At running back, number 31, Phil Matzat. At quarterback, number 1, Chris Flynn. And head coach Larry Utek and the rest of the St. Mary's Huskies. And joining referee Bill Glendenning at center field will be the team captains of the Bishop's Gators and the St. Mary's Huskies, Mr. Dennis Walker, and acting on behalf of the injured Al Matheson, Derek Schumann. And for the St. Mary's Huskies, captains Jim Fitzsimmons, Greg Kerwin, Scott Dunthorne, Louis Olsasher, Bill Stollard, and Phil Matzat. Bishop Gators will kick off to the St. Mary's Huskies. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to join Susie Quackenbush for the singing of our national anthem. Miss Susie Quackenbush.
Well, I guess that's why Phil Matzat wanted to play. He's got the first touchdown this afternoon after that great run by Flynn, but the turnover did it, and the Huskies have taken it in with that turnover about midfield.
Foster with the extra point, which is good. Matzat from Fresh Meadows, New York. You'll watch him here, number 31.
Well, just straight ahead block, and number 32, Jody Hubert at 230 pounds, leading the way, and he scored into the over the goal line, and we'll be back with the score, Huskies 7, Bishops nothing, in just a moment.
Foster kicking off against the wind. This time it will come to Zatilny. Zatilny hole on the left side, breaks it outside. Now the foot race, finally pushed out of bounds by number 22, John Witterman. Great return by Zatilny, giving Bishops a first down at St. Mary's 53-yard line.
Well,
50-yard kick, 42-yard run back, right?
Peter, Zatilny has that great speed in both kickoff returns. They tried to bring him up the middle, and this time Zatilny got through the first wave of Huskies coming downfield and turned it to the outside, and he got it back over midfield, so this is great field position after that fumble for the Bishop Gators.
We wondered how they would react if they got down early, if they would stick with the ground game. Let's see if they do. Kelly, 34, right side, he's the one that fumbled, and this time gets inside the 50 to about the 49-yard line for a gain of 3 yards on the play. It'll be second down, 6.5. Quigg comes into the ball game as they shuttle in with the plays. Mike Chant is the center. Silvio Martel, the quarterback, the freshman. He has Walker and Kelly in the backfield, both in motion this time. And Martel goes left, gets nailed, puts it up, and it's incomplete. Intended for Quigg, who had fallen down in the play, but Martel laced by Todd Barter, number 63, just as he threw the ball, as well as Craig Kerwin, who had a great game last year here on a wet field in the Atlantic Bowl as the rush comes.
Well, both backs go in motion, and the young quarterback Martel tries to get to the outside, but the pressure, he got decked, and that ball was up for grabs.
And one of the biggest kickers in college ball, Brian Morley, left-footed, gets good foot into this one. It's tracked down in the end zone. Now will they concede the point, or will it go through? Finally, he kneels down and decides to give it up. Mike Karen concedes the single at 7-1. 68-yard punt. Didn't really get it up in the air much either. Russ got a good bounce, though.
Well, Brad Morley reminds me of a guy by the name of Tex Calder. He used to kick for the Montreal Alouettes and played offensive line for them, and he just stands in there and boots it. And when you go about 260 pounds, you don't have to get it very far in the air to get it downfield. But he's kicking with that wind, and that wind is really going to have a factor, be a factor in the kicking game.
Second possession for St. Mary's. They went 55 yards for a touchdown in their first possession after a turnover. This time Flynn, almost trapped, gets away from one, finally gets it off on the short screen. Jody Hubert, number 32, and that play will still lose yards, but it was an exciting way to lose some yards.
Well, that's what Flynn does a great deal of the time. He can just make something happen, and he actually was in the grasp of one of the defensive players, but he did get away, and Matzat, who came into this game with a bad ankle, is the player hurt, and we were questioning how far he could go on that bad ankle.
It's almost in the grasp there when the first man had him.
Well, he got the ball off to that blocking back, Jody Hubert, who weighs 230 pounds, and he just couldn't get it turned upfield, but rather than losing about 15 yards, they turned into a 1-yard loss. But the loss of Matzat, if he can't come back, is going to hurt this offense.
Well, as you said, he has a bad ankle to start with, and he is limping noticeably on that as he comes off the field.
Anthony Williams.
Touchdown.
Anthony Williams, a rookie, will be back in there, and he will be replacing him. He's had some experience this year.
He has a 4.3-yard average rushing. Anthony Williams carried the ball 22 times for 94 yards. And he now lines up as the tailback. It's 2nd and 11. Flynn, pitch out to Williams. He's trapped immediately behind the line of scrimmage by linebacker Ron Lucier, number 50. So Bishop's defense holds this time. Might have just been some stage fright in that first drive.
Well, Little different offense there for the Huskies, going with a 2nd 11 and trying that quick sweep to the short side of the field. I think they have the feeling that the Bishops rotate some of their players to the wide side of the field, and you might see them try and run that sweep to the short side quite often.
Punting into the wind is Bill Scollard, the veteran. 37.6-yard average. Zatilny and Schumann await the punt. Long count and a time count violation. As I'm sure SMU were thinking that maybe Bishops would be a little anxious going for the block. They have to go again.
Number 15, 3rd down.
Didn't look like they were coming on attempting to block the kick, but
well, you might think if it was maybe a 3rd and 4th situation where if they get the 5-yard penalty, they would get a first down. But when it was 3rd and 14 yards, even if they did jump offside, you weren't going to get a first down, and they're kicking into the wind at 5 yards. Is 5 yards.
That moves Zatilny and Schumann up to their own 50-yard line to await the punt. Goes to Schumann. He will take it at the 53 and does not get back up to midfield as he is tackled by Kevin Reed, number 79. With the score, St. Mary's 7, Bishops 1. We'll be back in a moment. Defensive back Barry Richardson attended to on the field. Second-year art student and one of the starters in the secondary. Bishops first down, ball at their own 47-yard line after a loss of 6 yards after the short punt by Bill Scollard.
Kevin Reed, number 79, who made that downfield tackle in to replace the injured Barry Richardson at that safety position.
Martell, the quarterback, number 12. Run-oriented attack, don't forget. First man through is Walker. And Walker fumbles the ball, loose ball, and it appears that Swan, number 39, the wide receiver, was looking for a block, saw the ball, and alertly jumped on it.
Well, it's the second time that Bishop Gaiters have fumbled that ball, just a straight handoff up the middle. And number 22, Dennis Walker, very reliable running back, trying to get that extra yard, just seemed to fumble the ball as he was tackled, and an alert Mike Swan, number 39, got on it to give the Gators a first down.
Doug McKenzie, number 7, knocked the ball loose. Walker carrying again, breaks one at the line of scrimmage. And Fitzsimmons brings him down with some help at the 41-yard line. It'll be a gain of 8, close to 9. And they will mark it at 9 yards on that great run by Walker. Fitzsimmons, number 64, is the safety, but he hits like a linebacker, and he's built like a linebacker.
Well, they've got him back there playing in the middle, and he fills up there more than the safeties do. He's sort of a rover in the middle. Usually your safeties come up and fill, but he's the guy you're going to see up there making a lot of tackles on the sweeps.
Second down and 1. First man through is Walker again. He will have the first down to about the 37-yard line. So the Gators get their offense moving.
A little change in the offensive running pattern with the Gators because Keith Kelly has been the big runner all year. He's been the number 1 man, with Dennis Walker really being the second man. But this afternoon, they're having a lot of success with Dennis Walker going up the middle. And I know Larry Utek last night was a little concerned about the size of his defensive front four against the Bishop offensive line. And maybe they're testing them out to see if they can continue to go up the middle.
Halfway through the first quarter, he already has 38 yards. There's the first pass, intercepted. Cecil Curry with running room and gets over the 50 to the 53-yard line on the first pass attempt by Bishops in the afternoon, and Rossi threw it right into his arms.
Well, the first time Martell goes back, and the coach has said we don't want to put the pressure on him, but he certainly didn't see the defensive player, number 10, sitting back there, Cecil Curry, and he threw it right to him, and he's brought it back, and that's the second turnover in this first quarter. So with the score 7-1 for the Huskies, we'll be back in a moment. Well, again, looking at that interception, number 12, Silvio Martell threw it right at Curry. There was no Gator receiver around.
Flynn rolling to his right just before.
difficulties, which will be corrected in a few moments.
Difficulties, which will be corrected in just a few moments.
Which will be corrected in a few moments.
Technical difficulties originate with the network. Please do not adjust your set, as we hope to resume normal programming in a moment.
Gators like to use in second and long yardage.
Dunthorpe, Karazakis, and Brennan, the three outstanding linebackers, all up on the line of scrimmage. Now Karazakis just deep, so they fake, and Martell trapped as he tried the play-action pass. Got nowhere. Paul Tonnett, number 51, gets the sack.
Well, Martell went into the short punt formation and tried to run a little bootleg action off the fake wide sweep, but Tonnett had nothing of that, and he threw him for another loss. And now we're going to have the Bishop Gators kicking in about a 3rd and 20 situation.
4 minutes, 35 seconds remaining. First quarter as Bishops have the wind at their back. More than 6,000 fans here. Rush, good rush. Almost blocked. Bounces over the head of Ian McDonald, and he starts back at his 40-45 to the 50. Close to center field at about the 53.5, 54-yard line is veteran receiver Ian McDonald.
The Huskies came very close to blocking that punt of Brian Morley. He's a little slow getting that ball away. He's a left-footed kicker. And they may go after one later in the game if they get that opportunity, especially when he'll be kicking into the wind.
Wedderburn almost got to him that time. First down, St. Mary's. They lead 7-1. Late in the first quarter, ball at their 54-yard line. Flynn wants to pass, does so. And he finds McDonald, number 80, for 5 yards. McDonald on the season had a big year as far as pass receiving, 552 yards, a 20-yard average, 7 touchdowns.
Well, that's the impressive part, Peter. Over 20 yards per catch, and that means they're throwing that ball downfield a lot of the time.
2nd and 5 at the Bishops 51. Handoff to Matzett, and Matzett is stormed right at the line of scrimmage. You might have a yard and a half on the play.
Well, Brian Morley, the punter, playing that defensive end position, was right there on Matzett. Matzett doesn't have the great speed, and I'm sure with that ankle problem, it's going to slow him down even more. Actually, watching him come off the field now, number 31 is limping a great deal, and I'm surprised that they're still using him in that offensive set.
A defensive battle since the first possession by St. Mary's when they marched and got a touchdown after a fumble. Punt by Scullard will bounce to Schumann. Fakes the reverse. Schumann tries to cut up the middle, and he's brought down. Number 68 of the Huskies, Constant Nikolopoulos, makes the stop. Glad he's not a running back, Constant Russ. I don't think we'd have fun with that name.
We would hate to have to keep pronouncing that one, wouldn't we? He plays center. We'll mention him a few times, though.
Yep, we'll call him by his first name, too. Just inside the 15-yard line, first down for Bishops. They lose the wind in under 3 minutes.
How wide is the last guy?
Kelly back in the lineup, and Kelly will have 3.5 yards off the left side.
Right up mark. Peyton Harris. One's going on the outside.
They actually give him 4, make that 2nd down and 6.
And that's the cornerback. Yeah, the one guy, the cornerback.
Kelly's 5'11", 198 pounds from Gloucester, Ontario.
Just outside the east end of Ottawa.
Sophomore, still plenty of football to play in CIAU ranks. 2nd down and 6. Martell, the quarterback, rolls to his right, hands off, coming back to Walker. Walker breaks one at the line of scrimmage, and he will have the first down as he broke a tackle early and was able to pick up 15 yards on the play. That takes him up to 53 yards rushing in just this first quarter, and he's usually the decoy back.
Well, it's just a fake rollout, the one he threw the interception on, and number 22 and 34 went out as the lead blockers and gave it back on sort of a sprint out hand back draw. Number 22 did a good job, Dennis Walker, getting that big first down.
Walker again left side, and again good yardage up the middle. The linebackers keying on Kelly, 34, and Martell just keeps giving the ball to his blocking back, Dennis Walker. Walker was no slouch in the regular season, though. 349 yards with a 4.9-yard average, 2 touchdowns. And he missed 2 ball games due to injuries, so very respectable year. Yet they continue to key on Kelly. This time they come up in a double fullback formation. Martell to Kelly. Kelly hit instantly by Brennan. Rob Brennan, fine linebacker, catches him behind the line of scrimmage. And that will mean another kicking situation for Bishops. A little over a minute 20 to go in this first quarter, so this will be the last punt for Bishops with the wind at their back in the first half. Last time it was almost blocked by Wedderburn. Let's see if Morley gets it away cleanly, the left-footed kicker.
Well, they pulled the guy out of the middle, number 41 for the Gators. He's gone outside to make sure they don't get that clean rush at the kicker, and he got a pretty good kick away this time.
Caron has it go off his fingertips. He goes out of bounds and comes back and gets it. Caron all the way back to his 7-yard line. Caron trying to get around the corner, and he's brought down on the play. Number 91 for the Bishop Gators. Mark Harris had a hand on him, but then 60-yard.
Well, Rob Legault had great pursuit, and the receiver, Caron, went out of bounds, but you can go out of bounds and come back in and catch the ball and run with it. But Legault had great speed to run Caron down. But watch him, he slips out of bounds. He did not go out on his own. He had already touched the ball and realized he had to get on it pretty quickly. And number 91, Rob Legault, at 6'3" and 240 pounds, showed great speed in tracking him down.
First down for St. Mary's, just over their 10-yard line.
This is the worst field position they've started with this quarter.
That's it back in the ball game, and he has short yardage over the right side. Number 29, Doug Stempler, in to make the stop. Mike Karen comes in at wide receiver, bringing in the play. Nealon comes out. 2nd down and 6. Flynn straight back, gets pressure. And Flynn tries to cut back up the middle. Lucier had the early pressure on him. Harris finally makes the stop. But it'll be close to a 1st down. And that's the end of the 1st quarter. The score, the St. Mary's University Huskies 7 and the Bishop Gators 1. We're back with the 2nd quarter in a moment on the play. 2nd and 5. Flynn warming up, and that would seem to indicate that the medical staff feels that he can come in. Kelly now up to 41 yards on the afternoon, and a penalty goes against the Huskies, and that gives Bishop's a 1st down at St. Mary's 30-yard line.
Chris Flynn update. There had been some concern that he had suffered a concussion. Not so. SMU people tell me that he took a late hit, was speared, had his helmet driven into his nose, but he does not have a concussion. He's got his helmet back on. He's throwing the ball.
But right now, running the ball with authority is Keith Kelly. He seems to have become untracked in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Kelly with about 7 yards.
Good penetration in there. Looked like he may stop that run for 2 or 3 yard loss, but again, that great agility of Keith Kelly and great speed got him around the corner, and they're starting to make that sweep going. If you can start to get that defense widened down a little bit, it's even going to make Dennis Walker more effective going up the middle.
Ball at the SMU 23-yard line, 2nd down and 3. Martell, the quarterback, he hands to Walker inside. Walker caught from behind, and he will not have the 1st down. Kerwin busting in quickly from his tackle position. And now the gamble situation. It'll be 3rd down and 2. And with the running attack that the Gators have, you'd think that they would automatically go for it. Instead, they call the timeout.
Well, a good timeout. This is the best drive they've had all afternoon, and with this 3rd and 2 situation, they want to make sure they're doing what they think is best at this time. They have a great deal of confidence in their running game. There's no question that they feel they can run that ball. That's their bread and butter. But I think they just want to make sure, Coach Breck wants to make sure they have the right play in there at this particular moment.
And instead, they talk it over and decide into the wind, maybe we should instead try the field goal.
He's okay. Good job. That's a drive. That's it.
Well, that's what the timeout was for, to have them give them that time to make that decision, and they feel that if they can get the 3 points, that'll get them back into this ball game, although they're only down now a converted touchdown with the score 8-1.
Simon Restall was the place kicker.
He's got a pretty good leg, too.
Yeah, he has. They spot the ball at the 29-yard line. Restall gets it up, and it's wide right. Fitzsimmons will finally go down in the end zone and give up the single point, so it backfires a bit for the Gators as they pick up the point in the play, and it's now 8-2. And Chris Flynn leads the offensive unit on the field for the Huskies.
Well, as Paul said, it was not a concussion. It was just a matter of him getting himself straightened around, and this has to be a lift for all the Huskies and all the fans that are here for the Huskies, because he's the guy that makes this offense go.
I'm sure at halftime, Coach Breck will second-guess the decision to go for the 3 when his 2 running backs have been tearing up the field. Flynn, straight drop, sets up, throws left, and McDonald fell out. It's intercepted. McDonald fell down and went out of his hands right into the hands of Claude Mittal, and he has the 1st down for the Gators. The score, St. Mary's 8, Bishops 2. We'll be back in a moment.
Chris Flynn coming back after having that problem on the sideline, slipped a little bit as he threw it, and then McDonald, who came back for the ball, he slipped and the ball went right to mitten number 2, who picked it up and went back down the sideline, and now makes going for that field goal look not too bad.
41-yard return. Handoff. It's the reverse, and they finally get through the first tackle. Zatilny, flag flies on the play. Zatilny finally driven out of bounds by Ken Walcott, number 8. There is a flag down, however. And Zatilny is down out of bounds, injured as well.
Peter, I think you're either going to have a clip or a blocking below the waist, because it was, as he came around here, one of the offensive players seemed to peel back and take out.
We are clipping!
Seemed to come back and take out the Husky defender.
Didn't get the number, but the clip call was correct, Russ, and 2 or 3 times we've noticed the below the waist hit, that this time it was caught. Zatilny lucky to get away from the first hit, though.
You're right. They're trying to use his speed coming back on that reverse, but he got around the corner here finally, but got pushed out of bounds and was really given a rough ride as he went out of bounds.
Ken Walcott, who's in there. Richardson still not back in the ballgame. He was shaken up early.
Well, again, we've got the Gators in this unfortunate position. They don't like to be in this first and long yardage. First and 25 is not their favorite type of offense in a particular situation.
They like to churn it out, not put it up, but they spread them wide this time. And the draw up the middle. Kelly is stopped by McKenzie, number 7. Got a hand on him after a gain of about 4, and Kelly stumbled forward for about 3 more. That will still make it about 2nd down and 19, close to 20 yards.
Zatilny coming back into the game, and I'm sure bringing in a play to help the quarterback.
They have high hopes for Martell, though, as a quarterback to develop over the years. Good ball handler. 2nd down and 20. Bishops trail by 6. Fake to Kelly. Throws it up. Incomplete. Intended for Mike Swan. And on 3rd and 20, the kicking team comes in again.
Well, going into the wind, it's pretty far for that field goal. It would make it about a 41-yard field goal into the wind. So we're going to have that big number 61, Brian Morley, in there punting the ball, hoping to get it down near that goal line. I think what the coach would probably say, we'd like to pin them close to that goal line and see if we can hold them there again.
Would have been about a 43-yard attempt, 42-yard attempt if they tried the field goal into the wind, and they weren't kicking that in the pregame warm-up, so they won't try it in the ballgame. Kick bounces at the 7-yard line and close out of bounds. Finally, Caron watches it go out of bounds, and the Huskies will have the football, but they have it deep in their own territory at their own 4-yard line. 29-yard punt into the wind. Silvio Martell, the quarterback for Bishops, is 0 for 4 passing with 2 interceptions. On the year, he only put the ball up 84 times. Russ, I'm sure that you had some games close to that, never mind a season.
Well, not quite, but a couple of games, a doubleheader on a weekend, you might have thrown that many passes, that's for sure. Well, Chris Flynn back in at quarterback. We'll keep an eye on him.
Gets the rush up the middle and gets outside and away from it. Flynn tracked down out of bounds at about the 9-yard line. If that's marked there, it'll be a gain of about 2 or 3 yards on the play. Not much more. He was lucky to get outside of the rush.
Well, these defensive players, I know the coach of the Bishops, Gaiters, was saying last night that he felt the artificial turf was a benefit to his team because he felt they had such outstanding speed that it even made them a faster club. And that time, Ray Bernard, number 95, was able to run Flynn down and keep him to about a 3 or 4 yard gain.
Legault also had good contain on Flynn, just force him out at the last moment. 2nd down and 6. Fakes the screen left, screens back the other way, this time to Williams, and Williams has the 1st down and more as he sprints down the sideline. Finally pushed out of bounds close to the 25. They'll mark it at the 24-yard line. 15-yard pickup, faked the screen one way, came back the other.
Well, a great setup of the screen. As you say, Peter, he faked the screen to the right and then back to the left side. But the offensive tackle, Scott Nuttall, number 62, and Mario Vanni, number 56, got out in front of the screen, and each one of them got a great block. Number 17 got blocked, and then the other defensive player on that side, number 29, got blocked Stamper. So it's just a great screen play all around.
Broken play, Flynn in trouble, finally screens it off. Williams gets away from the hit, now he has some running room. Williams right side to the 50 to center field. Great block on Schumann, and Williams is down at the Gator 47-yard line. Bill Scholar, number 15, came back and made the big hit on Derek Schumann. A 39-yard gain on a broken play.
Peter, it was a broken play, and Flynn made it happen, but something you won't see too often. The young running back, Anthony Williams, broke the tackle of Leroy Blue, which put this thing well downfield to give the Huskies great field position. But Blue did a great job. Number 15 got a good block just at the end for him as well.
Leroy Blue, touted as the outstanding defensive player in the land, could not contain. Flynn is sacked. He's nailed back inside center field. Flag on the play. Derek Joseph registers the sack along with Mark Harris, but the flag could change it all.
Mouth guard warning. Second down.
Just a mouth guard warning. So one of the players obviously didn't have the mouth guard in position when the play started.
Well, that's a necessary situation now in college ball, that you must wear the mouth guard, and I guess one of them had it hanging from his face mask, and he got the warning.
Loss of 10 on the sack. Second down and 10. Make that second down and 20. Flynn drops right. Gets nailed as he puts it up deep. Intended for McDonald, but 4 went up, batted away, and a flag goes down. And now you'll see the difference in the rule in the college game. Is it offensive or defensive, first of all?
Well, I'm not sure what that call was. That flag was thrown well after the pass was knocked down, so the question is, was there some rough play?
A spear, a late spear.
The ball went down and the flag came in much later, and was there a third person in after the three of them, the two defensive players and McDonald, went up for the ball?
Unnecessary roughness, piling on, number 11.
That's what it is. Gilmore with the helmet comes in well after the ball. And a major foul and a big first down. Automatic first down, so that helps because the 15-yard penalty would not have been enough for the first down. But because of the major foul, it is a first down, and Flynn gets rocked after the play.
Well, they're getting some pretty good pressure on Flynn right now, but as we watch the ball go down here, it'll be number 11 coming in now after the ball is tipped away by the three people. Then he came in and put a pretty good hit, and I think it was basically a helmet into McDonald, and McDonald is still down on the field, just getting up now.
Shakes it off, and he seems to be okay. McDonald coming to the sideline.
That's a play that the coach doesn't want to see. They've stopped the offense. It
this
was
angle
a
shows it perfect, Russ.
situation, and here we are
11.
now.
Boom.
There's number 11 putting that helmet in there long after the ball had been tipped away. Good call, and giving the Huskies first down at about the 41.
Penalty takes them out of the hole. Flynn wants to go left, comes back over the middle, has Schollard inside, about 9 yards on the play, maybe 10. See where they mark this one. They mark it at the 31-yard line, and that might bring out the flags.
Well, that's just a great read on Flynn's part. He wanted to go to the outside in the flat to the back going in motion, and when he was covered, he just quickly looked inside, knowing that the linebacker had to be going to the outside, and put it right in Schollard's hand, and it's just going to be a little short of that first down, I think.
Wind blowing from left to right. 8-2 the score. St. Mary's on top. Bishops has not really threatened. They had a chance for a field goal and missed it.
Well, as Schollard is indicating, he feels it's less than a yard. Although there seems to be some discussion as to where they're placing those sticks. But it is second down.
Now they're going to go back to the sideline and check the mark.
Go, you guys, keep going, keep going.
Seemed to be some discussion as to what is going on out there and whether they're going to come out and measure it again. I think they must have lost the particular little tape they put on at the 40-yard line. The tape must have come loose, and they sent them back again to remeasure it. So they come out again, and you notice that the guy carrying the pole carried the tape all the way out, and it measured the same anyway. They're short, just under a yard.
So Coach Larry Utek looks on as his outstanding quarterback Chris Flynn back in directing the attack after suffering an injury early in the quarter. He has Williams and Hubert in the backfield, but Flynn will keep himself and has more than enough for the first down.
Well, that's something that's rather important with Flynn carrying on that quarterback sneak. It says, hey, I'm telling everybody I'm okay. He didn't hand off to one of the halfbacks, and that's a normal situation for the Huskies when they have short yardage. Flynn will definitely carry it on the quarterback sneak. So he's sending a message to the Bishops team and all the fans here as well.
Ball at the 28-yard line. With the wind at their back, they started this drive way back at the 7-yard line. Flag on the play. And the pass over the head of wide receiver Ian McDonald. May have been somebody crossing the line of scrimmage early.
Procedure! Wow. St. Mary's!
And that's what it was. Maybe that's why McDonald was so far behind everybody.
Well, he didn't give us a number as to who it was. Now the decision is, do we take a 2nd and 10 or do we go to 1st and 15? I would think they would go 2nd and 10 at this point, only give Flynn one more chance to get that first down.
Bishops declines the penalty, 2nd and 10. Every down he has extra is a down that could be turned into 6 points in a hurry. Flynn sprinting left. Cuts back now. Now we'll run with it. Flynn about 5 yards on the play. Couldn't find a receiver open. Good contain from Mark Harris, the linebacker. Harris, number 90, forced him back inside. Then he spun away from that, but by that time the contain caught up.
Well, luckily, number 50, number 50, made a great open field tackle on Flynn to keep 5 yards short of that first down. We have the 3-minute warning now with 3 minutes left in the second quarter, and we probably will have the second attempt at a field goal by number 13, Jerry Foster, who had just an outstanding week last week in kicking 4 field goals in that big win over Acadia.
Scollard will pin the ball, and he sets down the marker just inside the 30-yard line. So call it a 29.5-yard field goal attempt by Foster. The kick is good. So with the score, St. Mary's 11 and 11-2 the score. St. Mary's leading Bishops. Peter Young along with Russ Jackson and Paul Meunier at the Atlantic Bowl in Halifax. The Gators need to put some points on the board. They start at the 35-yard line. Martell wants to throw. It's Quigg. Quigg throws it up in the air, and Brennan almost comes down with it. David Quigg bobbled the ball and almost hit it right into the hands of Rob Brennan, the linebacker, number 45.
Martell tried to throw that quick out to the sideline. Quigg did get a hand on it, but almost threw it up in the air. As you say, Peter, defensive man didn't know it was there. He just tried to get in on that tackle.
So that time, Martell delivers right into the hands of his receiver. Makes it 2nd down and 10. Pitch out. Kelly left side, and he's stopped by Dunthorne. So the all-star linebacker of the Huskies comes in and makes the big hit.
What would you like? I'm trying to talk to him.
And that will bring up a kicking situation into the wind for big Brian Morley. We wondered aloud earlier, Russ, what would happen if they got down early in this ball game with this running attack as they come back, and right now the answer is no.
The Huskies are going to get that ball in good field position, and they've still got some time left with that offense of theirs.
Caron picks it up and takes it to the midfield stripe on a bouncing punt of only 23 yards. And that gives the Huskies outstanding field position with the wind at their back and over 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
Well, this is a key defensive series for the Bishop Gators because they have to stop the Huskies here. If they can march in, get themselves a field goal and go up 18-2 at halftime, it's got to be a big momentum going for the Huskies. So big series for the Gators defense.
Flynn with the straight drop this time into the pocket, fires deep. Intended for number 73, Smith, and Smith has it for 6 points. A 55-yard touchdown pass from Chris Flynn to Brian Smith.
Thrown well after the pass was knocked down, so the question is, was there some rough play?
A spear, a late spear.
The ball went down and the flag came in much later, and was there a third person in after the three of them, the two defensive players and McDonald went up for the ball?
Unnecessary roughness, piling on, number 11.
That's what it is. Gilmore with the helmet comes in well after the ball. And a major foul and a big first down. Automatic first down, so that helps because the 15-yard penalty would not have been enough for the first down, but because of the major foul, it is a first down, and Flynn gets rocked after the play.
Well, they're getting some pretty good pressure on Flynn right now, but as we watch the ball go down here, it'll be number 11 coming in now after the ball is tipped away by the three people. Then he came in and put a pretty good hit, and I think it was basically a helmet into McDonald, and McDonald is still down on the field, just getting up now.
Shakes it off, and he seems to be okay. McDonald coming to the sideline.
That's a play that the coach doesn't want to see. They've stopped the offense. It
this
was
angle
a second
shows it
and 20
perfect, Russ.
situation, and here we are
11.
now.
Boom.
There's number 11 putting that helmet in there long after the ball had been tipped away. Good call, and giving the Huskies first down at about the 41.
Penalty takes them out of the hole. Flynn wants to go left, comes back over the middle, has Schollard inside, about 9 yards on the play, maybe 10. See where they mark this one. They mark it at the 31-yard line, and that might bring out the flags.
Well, that's just a great read on Flynn's part. He wanted to go to the outside in the flat to the back going in motion, and when he was covered, he just quickly looked inside, knowing that the linebacker had to be going to the outside, and put it right in Schollard's hand, and it's just going to be a little short of that first down, I think.
Wind blowing from left to right. 8-2 the score. St. Mary's on top. Bishops has not really threatened. They had a chance for a field goal and missed it.
Well, as Schollard is indicating, he feels it's less than a yard. Although there seems to be some discussion as to where they're placing those sticks. But it is second down.
Now they're going to go back to the sideline and check the mark.
Go, you guys, keep going, keep going.
Seemed to be some discussion as to what is going on out there and whether they're going to come out and measure it again. I think they must have lost the particular little tape they put on at the 40-yard line. The tape must have come loose, and they sent them back again to remeasure it. So they come out again, and you notice that the guy carrying the pole carried the tape all the way out, and it measured the same anyway. They're short, just under a yard.
So Coach Larry Utek looks on as his outstanding quarterback Chris Flynn back in directing the attack after suffering an injury early in the quarter. He has Williams and Hubert in the backfield, but Flynn will keep himself and has more than enough for the first down.
Well, that's something that's rather important with Flynn carrying on that quarterback sneak. It says, hey, I'm telling everybody I'm okay. He didn't hand off to one of the halfbacks, and that's a normal situation for the Huskies when they have short yardage. Flynn will definitely carry it on the quarterback sneak. So he's sending a message to the Bishops team and all the fans here as well.
Ball at the 28-yard line. With the wind at their back, they started this drive way back at the 7-yard line. Flag on the play. And the pass over the head of wide receiver Ian McDonald. May have been somebody crossing the line of scrimmage early.
Procedure!
Wow.
St. Mary's!
And that's what it was. Maybe that's why McDonald was so far behind everybody.
Well, he didn't give us a number as to who it was. Now the decision is, do we take a 2nd and 10 or do we go to 1st and 15? I would think they would go 2nd and 10 at this point, only give Flynn one more chance to get that first down.
Bishops declines the penalty, 2nd and 10. Every down he has extra is a down that could be turned into 6 points in a hurry. Flynn sprinting left. Cuts back now. Now we'll run with it. Flynn about 5 yards on the play. Couldn't find a receiver open. Good contain from Mark Harris, the linebacker. Harris, number 90, forced him back inside. Then he spun away from that, but by that time the contain caught up.
Ron Lussey, number 15, number 50, made a great open field tackle on Flynn to keep 5 yards short of that first down. We have the 3-minute warning now with 3 minutes left in the second quarter, and we probably will have the second attempt at a field goal by number 13, Jerry Foster, who had just an outstanding week last week at kicking 4 field goals in that big win over Acadia.
Scollard will pin the ball, and he sets down the marker just inside the 30-yard line. So call it a 29.5-yard field goal attempt by Foster. The kick is good. So with the score, St. Mary's 11 and 11-2 the score. St. Mary's leading Bishops. Peter Young along with Russ Jackson and Paul Meunier at the Atlantic Bowl in Halifax. The Gators need to put some points on the board. They start at the 35-yard line. Martell wants to throw. It's Quigg. Quigg throws it up in the air, and Brennan almost comes down with it. David Quigg bobbled the ball and almost hit it right into the hands of Rob Brennan, the linebacker, number 45.
Martell trying to throw that quick out to the sideline. Quigg did get a hand on it, but almost threw it up in the air. As you say, Peter, defensive man didn't know it was there. He just tried to get in on the tackle.
So that time Martell delivers right into the hands of his receiver. Makes it 2nd down and 10. Pitch out. Kelly left side, and he's stopped by Gunthorne. So the all-star linebacker of the Huskies comes in and makes the big hit.
What would you like? I'm trying to talk to him, Tom.
And that will bring up a kicking situation into the wind for big Brian Morley. We wondered aloud earlier, Russ, what would happen if they got down early in this ball game with this running attack. Did they come back? And right now the answer is no.
The Huskies are going to get that ball in good field position, and they've still got some time left with that offense of theirs.
Caron picks it up and takes it to the midfield stripe on a bouncing punt of only 23 yards. And that gives the Huskies outstanding field position with the wind at their back and over 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
Well, this is a key defensive series for the Bishop Gators because they have to stop the Huskies here. If they can march in, get themselves a field goal and go up 18-2 at halftime, it's got to be a big momentum builder for the Huskies. So big series for the Gators defense.
Flynn with the straight drop this time into the pocket, fires deep. Intended for number 73, Smith, and Smith has it for 6 points. A 55-yard touchdown pass from Chris Flynn to Brian Smith.
told us all day yesterday that Brian Smith was going to be their clutch receiver, and he got outside into that sunny area on the field, and the ball was just thrown perfectly by Chris Flynn. Took that ball outside by the sideline and just outran the defensive player into the end zone, number 29, Doug Stamper.
Stampler, one of the inside safeties, so I don't know if he had the man-to-man coverage or not on.
You had to think that Williams was the inside, or Smith was the inside receiver, took him to the outside, then turned it downfield, and it was man-to-man defense, and he just didn't have the speed to cover him. And as we said, that was a big defensive series for the Bishop Gators, because the Huskies have got to feel real confident right now offensively.
And it could become an 8-point touchdown, because now we'll find Foster kicking off, and yesterday, Russ, he was kicking the ball through the end zone in this situation, and with the wind at his back, that possibility has to exist.
Well, he definitely has the foot to put it in the end zone, and the Gators now have to be concerned about making sure they move that ball after they have that opportunity of receiving this kickoff. So again, the offense for the Gators has to get a first down, or else it could be a problem with the Huskies getting the ball back again with some time left. They are explosive. They have that big play offense.
Doesn't get it deep enough. Harris tries to come inside, bounces off one tackle, and Harris with Doug McKenzie, number 7, hanging on to him, is dragged down. Direction, that was Keith Kelly, number 34, with the ball. And Kelly, pretty good run back, 27 yards, and surprisingly, Foster with the wind at his back couldn't put it into the end zone. Now the Gators almost have to put it up, Russ.
Well, you would think they would want to throw the ball now, but Martell doesn't have a great deal of confidence in terms of throwing that ball, and he does hand it off to number 22, Walker.
Well, Walker is stopped up after a gain of about 2-3 yards. Doug McKenzie, number 7, the defensive end, in the stop along with Kerwin, number 66. And that will make it 2nd down and 7. 18-2, as Martell has yet to complete a pass. Although he couldn't be faulted for 2 of them that hit receivers right in the hands. And off inside to Walker, and Walker is stopped short. Over a minute left, and Chris Flynn will get the football again. Only took him 1 play after the last punt to go 55 yards.
Well, again, you've got to look at the Huskies getting the ball back again with the minute flag not being up yet, and they're going to look at trying to score again, and the Gator defense is going to be put to the test.
Into this strong wind, the last punt by Morley traveled only 23 yards. And that is why St. Mary's had the ball in great field position.
Well, we got a timeout down here, and I'm sure Larry Utek is talking to that punt return team, and you have to wonder if maybe they might be going to put a little pressure on number 61 as he's kicking that ball.
McDonald and Caron go back, 2 receivers at about their 42-yard line. If they can get up to around their own 50, that would still give Flynn great field position with 1:37 left and the chance to put this one out of reach. Not a big rush. Comes down to Caron, number 21. He'll get inside center field, slips the tackle, and is finally pushed out of bounds at the 51-yard line of the Bishop's Gators. 27-yard kick, a 15-yard return. Mike Swan, the wide receiver, is able to finally push him out of bounds. So from the 51, Flynn goes to work with 1:27 left in an 18-2 ball game that has been broken open early in the second quarter, and then again another touchdown late in the second quarter by the Huskies. We thought it would be great defense by Bishops that would keep the scoring low. Instead, it's been great defense by St. Mary's. Flynn fumbles the ball, And was it after the whistle? Rob Legault, number 91, will come up holding the football, but I believe it was after the whistle blew.
Well, they're going to rule he was down before he fumbled that ball, but he did get rocked pretty good from the backside. He didn't see that defensive lineman coming in from the backside. Flynn tried to step up into the pocket, waiting for that receiver to get loose downfield, and he really got socked, and I think he got a little bit of a break on that particular play, not being called a fumble.
Second down, 13. A minute 8 to go. Flynn in the drop straight back. There's all kinds of pressure from Joseph, number 97. Still on his feet is Chris Flynn, and now he has some running room. Flynn cuts to the outside. Good block by Schollard. Flynn with a first down and out of bounds. Driven over the bench, and a penalty for that infraction will give St. Mary's the ball inside Bishop's 30-yard line.
Well, that's what excites everybody that support the St. Mary's team. Just what Chris Flynn did on that particular play. He could have been thrown for a 25 or 30-yard loss. Instead, he gets the first down all by himself with some great blocks.
First down.
And then, as the official is saying, number 11 again. He
Gilmore.
got the rough call down on the pass play. Prior to this, gets a rough call as he pushed him right at the St. Mary's bench after he was long out of bounds. But just a great, not only individual effort by number 1, but he does get 2 or 3 outstanding blocks as he does come downfield. And now with less than a minute to go, Chris Flynn and the Huskies are in position again to put some points on the board.
Now watch
Number 11
Gilmore.
will
No
be
need
right
to
there.
do that. Once he's going out of bounds, you touch him, and it's 15.
That's 2 very important penalties that they have taken. Chris Flynn's called a timeout for the Huskies.
Now they're arguing about the mark on where he was pushed out of bounds. Schumann is talking to the official. And now they're asking the Huskies to step back a bit towards their bench. They were inside that restraining line.
Well, that's no place you want to get into a situation like that, right at the other team's bench when you push their number 1 player into the bench after he has been hurt earlier in this half.
So 2 roughing calls in this second quarter against Vic Gilmore have, well, in one case gave them a field goal, and in the other case,
We're still waiting to see.
But certainly gave them a big first down after they'd already picked up 14 yards on the scramble by Flynn. Derek Joseph, number 97, will be talking to himself about that play. He had Flynn for a 15-yard loss.
So did about 3 or 4 other players.
Flynn, straight back, short drop, passes right into the hands of Karen, and he drops it. Just a 2-step drop there.
Well, he's trying to get that ball out to the sideline as quickly as possible. I'm sure Karen, if he caught it, had the 2 options. Number 1, if he could turn it upfield, fine. If not, head straight out of bounds and stop the clock. But you have to catch it first.
Russ, have you been a little surprised that really Leroy Blue, we haven't mentioned his name a whole lot?
That's right. They've been able to contain him, and also he did miss that big tackle on Williams when he broke away for about that 45-yard run.
Flynn drops, throws over the middle. It's great catch, and he goes into the end zone. Matt Nealon for the touchdown. Seldom used receiver Matt Nealon, number 70, is the man free, and Flynn hits him to break this game open.
Well, they started early in the first quarter throwing to Nealon on the short outs, and we were surprised because he's not the big receiver in that receiving core of 4. But again, he comes back to him over the middle. Just a perfect pass thrown up high where Nealon went up and got it, and he just stretched himself across that goal line. And now we've had these 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes to break this game wide open.
Foster will attempt to make it 25. Bobbling the snap is Scholar. Now, he used to be a quarterback, so he can throw and will put it up deep, but it's over everybody's head. Jody Hubert, the big blocking back, was the only man close to the ball. Scholar used to be not a bad thrower, and therefore it wasn't strange to see him be able to put it up, but the bad snap bobbled, and it stays 24-2. Bishop's a running team with a half to go, but Russ, not a great prospect when you consider they haven't completed a pass yet.
Well, you have to speculate what Bishop is going to do, and I'm sure everybody will be doing that at halftime, including us. But I think that the big thing is been the ability of Chris Flynn to come back after that injury and lead them to these 2 late second quarter touchdowns. And I guess part of the speculation will be whether the second-year quarterback, Mike Pilo, will start the second half for the Bishop Gators. I guess we can speculate on that and wonder what the coach is going to decide to do. Coach Breck with the Gators.
Well, the score almost takes the running game away. I mean, you just can't afford to think you're going to make 22 points back up via the run. But Bishop's fans will be, I mean, after watching them run the ball up and down the field all year, they know they can get the big yardage, but do they have enough time to do it that way? Kelly, number 34, watches it bounce through his hands twice. But Kelly gets some great inside running room, and Kelly breaks it. Finally tracked down from behind after a great run. Flag on the play here. That could go in their favor. Jody Hubert, number 32, trying to track him down. John Wedderburn, 22, finally made the stop.
All right, we have unnecessary roughness
against roughness.
White. Piling on. Up 15.
Number, please. 48-yard kick return by Keith Kelly, who has outstanding speed.
Quite often when you bobble that ball down there, it sort of just causes the defensive players or the kickoff cover team coming down to hesitate that little bit. And with that great speed that Kelly has, he broke it up through the middle there, and it looked like he might be gone before number 22. Wedderburn did drag him down from behind, but then the rough play has given them the first down, and now a pass, the first pass completion.
Gregory with the first reception, and it won't be a first, but it'll be close. First pass completion goes to Patrick Gregory, and he had 11 of the 32 completions that Martell made through the years. So I guess that's your favorite receiver.
You might say he's the favorite receiver when he's got 1 out of every 3. He's the only one in double figures for them.
Second down and inches. Martell will throw on this play again for Gregory, and it's off his hand, but would have been out of bounds anyway. So now on 3rd and inches, with time running out, the sun shines right into the clock. I believe it is 28 seconds. 23.
Now you've got to make that decision whether you try and get the first down and then hope you have 2 more pass plays. And the Bishop Gators do have another timeout left, so if they did go for that first down, quickly call the timeout. The quarterback should be telling the referee right now, as soon as the ball's on the ground, you look at me, I'm going to be calling timeout to save as many seconds as he can.
Martell on the quarterback keeper, and he might not make it. Craig Kerwin ran right into the quarterback. Instead of just plowing straight ahead for an inch, he almost faked back like he was going to go on the draw.
Well, it looked like a quarterback draw, and that's an unfortunate situation, because if you run a quarterback draw as they did there, the defensive linemen are all coming ahead. They're charging. They're not sitting back looking at pass in that situation. They can't stop the pass. They're looking at stopping the run. When you've got Kerwin, number 66, who weighs about 220 pounds, he just had them straight up and pushed them back.
When you've got running backs like Kelly and Walker in the backfield and you only need 2 inches, why would you not give the ball to him, Russ?
Well, at least if the quarterback's going to carry it, I think you should run a quarterback sneak, not a fake pass and a drop lane.
Oh, great scoring opportunity for the Gators. Falls apart. And St. Mary's will go into a very strange formation, which is obviously meant to do nothing but run out the clock, as they have 2 of the receivers back 20 yards or 15 yards behind Chris Flynn, who goes down to his knees. Now, he may have to go down to his knees a second time before they put an end to this first half.
Well, with the change of possession, the clock doesn't start until the ball is snapped, and with the ball being snapped now and keeping it in play, they can now run out the clock, I would think, on this particular play. But the St. Mary's team, well-coached team, they're prepared for every situation, and in this situation, they've got those 2 people back there just in case they're happening to have a bad center and a fumble recovery.
So a questionable 3rd down gamble hurts the Gators. And time runs out in this first half. 24-2 the score.
Story here for you guys. They talk about your offense, but defense, that's what's been doing it for you.
Yeah, well, all year, there's been a lot of press on the offense. Defense has been getting their share, but, we've always had a good defense. We've got some really good players out there, and we're really proving it today.
Okay, Rob, you figured out their offensive line. You've got to expect them to throw the ball in the second half.
Oh, they've got to. I mean, we've completely taken away their run. I mean, they've got a couple of good breaks, but on the whole, we shut down their running game, and we hope they're going to go to the air now, and we can take that away from them as well.
All right, good luck in the second half.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's 24-2, St. Mary's Huskies over Bishop's Gators at halftime. The 1988 Atlantic Bowl continues. St. Mary's Huskies lead at 24-2 at the half. You've seen some of the Huskies who've been nominated for All-Star Awards this year.
Down there?
Here it is, the awards nominees for national honors. St. Mary's Huskies, Acadia Axemen, and Mount Allison Allisons. In a team sport like football, it's difficult to point out stars. Difficult, but not entirely impossible. Every year, a few outstanding players surface and are nominated for national honors. Here are this year's nominees from the Atlantic Conference. The outstanding university football player in Canada is awarded the Heck Crichton Trophy, named after the late teacher, coach, referee, and author of the official rule book. SMU quarterback Chris Flynn, in just his second year, was the hands-down nominee from the AUAA. His 21 touchdown passes broke the AUAA season record and tied the CIAU mark. He completed 113 of 196 attempts for 2,052 yards. His efficiency rating was the best in the country. More telling about this dynamic player is the fact that he was the second leading rusher in the AUAA with 471 yards on 59 carries. Chris Flynn can do it all. The J.P. Metras Trophy, initiated in 1974, the centennial year of collegiate football in Canada, goes to the outstanding lineman. Acadia Axeman Scott Nicholson, in his final year at the Annapolis Valley campus, racked up some impressive numbers this year. 16 unassisted tackles, 8 assisted tackles, and 3 tackles for losses. He was also a thorn in the side of quarterbacks with 8 hurries, 1 sack, and 1 pass knockdown. The President's Trophy was first awarded 8 years ago. It goes to the outstanding defensive player, excluding down linemen. Linebacker Scott Dunthorne is no stranger to accolades. Twice an AUAA All-Star, he's got a reputation as one of the league's hardest hitters. A starter for 4 years, he really made an impression on opposing offenses this season, with 22 initial tackles, 34 assisted tackles, and 3.5 quarterback sacks. Opponents often tried double and triple teaming Dunthorne with little success. It takes a lot to make yourself known as a freshman. That is why the Peter Gorman Trophy for Rookie of the Year is an award to be cherished. Grant Keeney caught everyone's attention in the small town of Sackville, New Brunswick. The Mountie running back finished 3rd in league rushing with 468 yards on 81 carries for a 5.8 average and 3 touchdowns. He also caught the ball well, 19 passes for 194 yards and another couple of touchdowns. That placed him 4th in league scoring. He was 8th in receiving. Next, the best from the Ontario-Quebec Conference. Now, the Ontario-Quebec Intercollegiate Football Conference nominees, the Heck Crichton Trophy. It's a real treasure. For to have your name engraved on this tells everyone that you are the outstanding university football player in all of Canada. The Ontario-Quebec Conference nominee for 1988 is Jock Leamy. In just 7 games, Jock set a CIAU single-season receiving record, 1,091 yards on 58 catches. His best game, 244 yards, 4th in CIAU records. In 2 other games, he surpassed 200 yards. Jock's credited with making Queen's offense happen. He had 7 touchdowns, his catches often spectacular. For 30 years, John Pius Metras coached the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. In that time, he won 10 league championships, 1 for 3. The J.P. Metras Trophy to the outstanding lineman in Canadian university football, vying for that honor for Ontario-Quebec, Paul Vajda. He's only in his 2nd year, but he's been a starter for 2 seasons. He came to Concordia with credentials as a Quebec CJEP All-Star in 1985 and 1986. He's big, with great athletic ability, and just as important, he comes to play every game. In 1980, Ed Zemro, the past president of the CIAU, and Robert Doty, the past president of the College Bowl, donated the President's Trophy for the outstanding defensive player, except for down linemen. Leroy Blue is a quarterback's nightmare. He's quick and effective. Witness 63 tackles and 12 quarterback sacks. Nobody in the OQ Conference had numbers like that this year. He's also returned 1 interception, 62 yards for a touchdown. He is an all-round player. Leroy Blue, you'll hear his name again. The late Peter Gorman founded the College Bowl, forerunner to the Vanier Cup in 1965. Gorman's tremendous contribution to the development of youth in Canada will be noted by the rookie who claims the prize named in his honor. Ottawa's Dave Lewis is the Ontario-Quebec pick for that award. A versatile lineman, he won a starting position early in the season and didn't disappoint. 8 initial tackles, 19 assisted tackles, and a sack. His desire to excel, coupled with strength and toughness, put him in good stead against more experienced opponents. This is the 1988 Atlantic Bowl, live from Halifax.
And all of those guys will have jitters Thursday night as they hand out the hardware, the Outstanding Player Awards, Canadians in Toronto, leading up to the varsity, the Vanier Cup in Toronto. It is 24-2, St. Mary's Huskies over the Bishop's Gators at halftime.
4-2, the Huskies lead at halftime, and joining me in the broadcast booth is Father George Kehoe, who is the president of the Atlantic University Athletic Association. Father Kehoe, with that kind of a score, you have to be a very happy guy right now.
Yes, we certainly are, and with the enthusiastic and large crowd, everything's going pretty well.
This is a great area for football. I think Canadians have to realize that the atmosphere in college football in the Maritimes is probably unprecedented across this country.
Well, I take your word for it, but I know it's pretty strong here for sure.
One of the things that we have to think about is that, you know, the CFL has talked for years and years about the possibility of coming out to the Maritimes, and if they saw the support, it's almost unfortunate that it has never happened.
Yes, I suspect that it would be very successful if they come down here.
What about this crowd, too? I think just from watching the security people, it's a very well-behaved crowd. I'm sure that with 6,000 to 7,000 people, there has to be some problems because there just are not enough seats for them, but from what I can tell, it looks pretty good.
Yes, we're very pleased with that. Very well behaved. And I was talking to Bill Robinson just prior to the game, and he tells me that it's between 8,500 and 9,000 people here.
That has to be something that the people who organize this event will be very proud of. They do such a good job. You know, we made mention that at one of our meetings last night. I don't know where we've gone doing football across this country where we've been better received or helped out as much as we seem to be helped out here every year.
Well, that's very good to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
We at CTV, of course, would like to thank everybody in the committee here because they have done so much to make our job easier here. What do you do now? The season ends. It looks right now like your conference will be represented in the Vanier Cup next year unless there's a big turnaround in the second half. What will that mean this week?
Well, all the work as far as the Atlantic Bowl is obviously over. The Vanier Cup, we just hope for the best.
Okay, Father Kehoe, thank you very much for stopping and joining us in the booth this afternoon. We wish your association the best in the second half, and it looks like they could be represented this year in the college championship.
Thank you very much.
The score right now, 24-2 in favor of the St. Mary's Huskies. St. Mary's Huskies, who came so close last year at the Atlantic Bowl, have a commanding 24-2 lead at halftime here at Husky Stadium. Big first half registered by the Huskies as they totally dominated after the first quarter. 12 first downs compared to 7 for the Gators. The total yardage, 222 to 130. And I think that the big secret there is that Chris Flynn was able to come back after sustaining an injury and guide them to 2 touchdowns in that second quarter. Turnovers hurt Bishops in this ballgame.
Well, Peter, there's no question about it. Head coach Breck was talking about the fact that they don't hurt themselves. That's what they've done all year. 4 turnovers in the first half is probably the most they've had in any game this year. And you can't play a high-flying team like the St. Mary's Huskies and give them that many opportunities. We mentioned in the early in that game, late in that first quarter, that they were fortunate they were only down 8-1 because of what had happened in the number of turnovers. So it's something that if they continue to do it, it'll just be a blowout.
The first highlight, Russ, is one that features Chris Flynn.
Well, Chris Flynn, after the fumble by Kelly, took this ball and he improvises so well. He came out to the outside, almost looked like he was going to run from the time he came out here. Right now, you know he's going. And he ran for 22 yards, got a good block downfield, and turned it into a 22-yard gain into the 3-yard line. And again, the fumble set it up. You get Kelly fumbling that ball. He doesn't fumble the ball normally. But when you give it to a player like Chris Flynn, that's what happens. And then shortly after this, Matzad, who has the ankle injury from the 3-yard line on the next play, took it off right tackle and ran it into the end zone. But it's that turnover. It gave the Huskies that first touchdown and actually set up the momentum for them. Although the Bishops' defense did play reasonably well up till that time, and when Chris Flynn was hurt, certainly they did hold the Huskies really to nothing offensively.
But going into the wind like that, it has to be a big morale booster to start the ball game.
Yeah, but then interceptions start to hurt them. You know, they turned it over on the fumble. Martell, the young quarterback, did try and throw the ball up, and on his first pass, he throws an interception, which again puts them behind the 8 ball. And there were a series of interceptions that took place that created the problem for that particular team. And I think that Martell had a bit of a problem, and he just couldn't possibly do anything right for them. And the first time he does throw the ball up in the air, Cecil Curry, he threw it right to him. He went back, he looked to the right all the time, and threw that ball at him. But it's really unfortunate. This is the one after that where Paul Toney intercepted a screen pass. And actually, I blame Walker a little bit for that particular interception, because he wasn't even looking around, looking for the ball at all. Flynn came back after the injury, and the first time he went out here, he slipped a little bit, tried to get the ball to McDonald, and he had a tough time. He slipped here a little bit, didn't really get himself set. And McDonald had to come back for the ball, and he slipped when he came back on that artificial turf. And certainly, number 2 was looking the ball, Claude Miton, right in his hands, and took it back to get them into good scoring position. But they really couldn't do anything with it. They've had 2 or 3 chances now down around that 30-yard line, but they haven't been able to put the ball in the end zone or capitalize on those opportunities.
Now, why cannot Bishops establish more of a running game? I mean, they've been so successful all year. Have we been underestimated the defense of the Huskies, maybe?
Well, I don't think we underestimated the defense of the Huskies. I think there was a concern throughout the week with the St. Mary's team about their small defensive line, but they've managed most of the game to control that particular situation. But late in that half, the Huskies took over. Flynn came back, got things going, and he threw 2 late second quarter touchdown passes. The first one to Brian Smith, he got to the outside, he beat Doug Stamper, and the ball was laid out there perfectly. Smith being their key receiver, he got well in behind Stamper and carried the ball into the end zone. And then shortly after that, he threw a 20-yard TD pass to Nealon over the middle, which has given that 24-2 lead. So I really think that sort of last 3 minutes has really made it difficult for the Gators.
The best field position the Gators had in the entire half occurs in the last minute of play, and they have a 3rd down and 2 inches to go, and Russ, they call it quarterback draw. I mean, do they call the plays on the field, or is that a coaching?
Well, that's a coach's decision, because they did call a timeout just before that particular play, and it has to be made on the sideline, so you have to look at the coaches.
All right, they're down by 22. Obviously, they have to score a lot of points. So what will we see in their attack for this half? They had no success passing, but they almost have to.
Well, they have to throw the ball. I don't think their running game is going to get them 4 scores, and that's what they need if St. Mary's don't get anything. And you can't contend that they're going to keep St. Mary's off the scorecard. So they've got to come out with one of those 2 quarterbacks and say, son, you've got to put that ball in the air no matter what happens.
All right, we'll see if the Gators can, in fact, register some points early in the second half. Right now, though, it's St. Mary's 24.
We're just moments away from the second half. With me is a man who has coached the Bishops Gators. In fact, Bruce Coulter, for you, this is the first time on the sidelines, not wearing a headphone and screaming and yelling and giving orders.
Well, it's a little bit different, I must admit, but I haven't been on the bench all year, and I came down today, but it's very disappointing. Bishop's playing their normal game, which is to try and sort of hang in there until the end and sort of put their defense on the field and cause some turnovers. But before the half, Chris Flynn put on a magic show, and we're down quite a bit. It's going to be difficult to catch up.
Well, of course, a lot was said about the defense of the Bishop Gators coming into this game, but I guess really it's been the SMU defense that's won the glory.
Yeah, they have. Actually, Bishops is running the ball not too badly, but unfortunately it's sporadic, and we can't get a long drive going. We run one for 12, 14 yards, and then we run for 1 yard. So we need a lot more consistency, and Silvio's put the ball up a couple times, not taking his time.
What would you be saying to a young quarterback like that who's got a tough time getting the ball in the air and finding a receiver? What do you do to calm him down? Because he really doesn't have much option at this point, does he?
Well, he doesn't have much option. We were hoping that we'd be more consistent on our run, even though we have run well. I guess you just have to tell him to throw the ball on a safe pattern and get his confidence up a little bit. But it's going to be difficult to come back now.
This is the first time you've seen the SMU Huskies. I guess Ian Breck has got his job cut out for him in the second half. What do you think of their offense?
Oh, their offense is outstanding. Of course, I've seen Chris Flynn a lot, and we were hoping to get him at Bishops, and he does make a difference. We thought we could control him a little bit. In fact, I think we did for a while, but just towards the second half, he put on his show.
Bruce Coulter, thanks very much.
Very welcome.
moments away from the second half. Let's go upstairs to Peter Young.
Thank you, Paul. And it's a situation, I think, that Bruce points out that it's not totally impossible, but it will be very difficult for the Gators to come back against this strong defensive unit of the Huskies. That's even assuming they don't add to their point total. So, I mean, let's face it, they could score another 10, 12 points themselves this second half as well.
That's true, Peter. We often think that all we have to talk about is how can the Bishop Gators get some points on the scoreboard, but they also have to worry about how they're going to stop, you know, the particular Huskies from scoring, because the scoring summary here indicates that they had a pretty good first half, especially late in the quarter, second quarter.
Matson made it 7-0 with a 3-yard touchdown run, then Morley with a single, and it was 7-1 at the end of the first quarter for St. Mary's. But in that second quarter, they took command. 74-yard single by Foster on the missed field goal attempt made it 8-1, and then Restall with a 53-yard single on a missed field goal. It was 8-2. Then the field goal successful by Foster from 30 yards out, 11-2, and then late in the ball game, or late in that first half rather, Smith with the 55-yard touchdown pass from Flynn, the beautiful play, one play after the turnover at midfield. And then later on, Nealon with a great catch over the middle, hauling one down 23 yards from Flynn. So Chris Flynn, as Bruce Coulter pointed out, was spectacular, to say the least, in that first half. Next week, of course, Russ and I will be at Varsity Stadium in Toronto as the national championship game, the Vanier Cup, is staged, and it's always a gala extravaganza, and so great for the college game, Russ.
Well, it's a super week in Toronto. The Junior Board of Trade does an outstanding job of organizing many activities, a lot of them geared to the players, the outstanding coach of the year, not just the game itself that we will be doing next Saturday, and it's a fun week for everybody who goes.
And it'll be also great because the Argos will be hosting either Winnipeg or Hamilton the next day, so it's a big football weekend in Toronto.
It's quite a weekend in Toronto, and it starts with the Vanier Cup Bowl at Varsity Stadium. We invite all the people to come down and watch the winner of this game go against the winner of that Calgary Dinosaur Western Mustang game that's being played at Little Stadium in London.
And that'll be could be a quagmire, I hear, later today because of the fact that it was pretty soggy earlier in the week during practices, and that has to hurt Calgary's chances, I would think. So it looks right now like it will be St. Mary's, and you can bet a big contingent of Atlantic fans will be heading that way, as it was last year when McGill just had thousands of fans come in from Montreal to support their team, and they pulled the big upset.
Well, that's right. The Vanier Cup committee proved that you don't have to have a team from immediately around the Toronto area to draw a big crowd. They've got that into an outstanding week of activities, climaxed by that game at Varsity Stadium on Saturday afternoon. And certainly last year with McGill playing UBC in that particular game where McGill did run away from the Thunderbirds from out in Vancouver, they proved that they can put a lot of fans in there, and there's a lot of interest in college football around the Toronto area and right across this country.
You know, we mentioned that the CFL will be playing as well next week in Toronto. They are playing as well tomorrow, the semifinals, as Saskatchewan Roughriders will be playing host in the West to BC, who've come on strong, and Winnipeg plays host to Hamilton. I know at the Winnipeg game, Russ, I was telling you earlier that Donnie the Golden Boy Lalonde, who lost to Sugar Ray in a 9th round knockout in Vegas last Monday night, will be doing the opening kickoff duties at that game in Winnipeg, and I know a lot of Canadians support him in spite of the fact that he lost, especially with the child abuse cause.
Well, he'll be using his foot instead of his hands this time. He won't need a boxing glove on that foot either.
All right, we're almost set to start the second half here at Husky Stadium, as the Gators will have their work cut out for them. They have the wind in this third quarter, and will be giving the ball to St. Mary's on this opening kickoff, so the Huskies will have a chance to draw first blood in the second half. Simon Restall preparing to kick the ball off, and the second half is underway. Karen, number 21, looking for a hole up the middle. He's nailed. Short of the 30-yard line. Swan, number 39, made the hit that put him down. It was almost an inadvertent hit. He's shaking his head. Swan doesn't even realize he was in a bunch of traffic, and he ran right into him.
Well, we talked about how important a defensive series was for the Gators late in that second quarter, and they didn't respond. And right now, they have to stop the Huskies down here and give good field position to that offensive team of theirs.
Pitch out, left side, Matson, who's back in the ball game, and he'll have 5, almost 6 yards, maybe more than that. Matzik, who hasn't played since early in the game, pulls itself together at halftime and decides to shake off that ankle injury.
Steve Zatilny, they've limited your running game. You've got to go to the air now.
Well, I think we made a move. We put Mike Pillow in, who's got the strong arm. I think we're going to come out passing a lot, and hopefully we can get something going here.
Okay, you got to go to work.
Thank you very much.
Steve Zatilny, of course, had a big first half. Although they didn't register points, he was one of the most effective Bishop's Gators. 2nd and 2, and Matzik will go nowhere. He's nailed. Mark Harris, the linebacker, is in there along with Lucier, number 50, to make the big hit, and that will force St. Mary's to kick, which is something, of course, that they had to do.
Well, a great defensive play on 2nd down, and I'm a little surprised to see Matzik in there with the particular score as it is with 24-2, and maybe looking ahead to next week if they can, although that's kind of difficult to do with half a game to play. But you have to wonder about them using him on that bad ankle he's had all week.
After last year's wild finish, I'm sure Larry Utek will never look ahead to the end.
You've got it.
Look ahead. Short punt into the wind. Only 25 yards, and that will mean great field position for Bishops to start just short of midfield, about the 54.5-yard line, I suppose. And as we talked earlier, just before halftime, we thought they might make a quarterback switch, and that is exactly what they have as Mike Pillow comes out. Almost intercepted. Knocked away at the last minute. Pillow, the type of player that they say has a little bit better arm than the original quarterback, is a better ball handler.
Well, Pillow threw that ball downfield, got in there pretty good, but number 79, Kevin Reed, made a great defensive play to step inside there, and Kevin Reed playing in place of Barry Richardson, who was hurt in that first half.
2nd down and 10. Pillow on the straight drop. Completes it over the middle, and David Quigg has the first down, and that is at the 32-yard line. So Pillow gets something going for the Gators.
Well, Pillow showing a lot of confidence coming out here in the second half. He knows he's got nothing to lose. He's got to throw that ball. The defense knows he's going to throw that ball, but he threw that ball with authority on a string downfield to David Quigg, who makes that first big reception for the Bishop Gators.
First down at the 33-yard line. Pillow to throw again, sideline pattern, and he has his man, Zatilny. The Gators get something going. 7-yard pickup.
Well, Zatilny has that great speed, and John Wedderburn almost got faked out, but just tripped him up at the last minute. Otherwise, he might have gone the distance.
Zatilny comes from a football family. His brother played with the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
He has some kind of speed as well.
And this time Pillow has nowhere to go. It's in the grasp, and it's counted as a sack as both Karazakis and Brennan get to him, the two linebackers, with Scott Dunthorne as well. So the trio of almost all all-star linebackers converge at the quarterback.
Well, it just seemed like no one caught Karazakis at all. He just stepped around the offensive guard who had a different assignment, and he was on the quarterback almost as fast as he dropped back to 4 or 5 yards to throw that ball.
They're down in 7 now, and Gators know they have to put points on the board, so you might as well go for it.
This tells us what's going to happen in this second half.
I don't think it'll be the quarterback draw, though, Russ.
I don't think so. They got 3 receivers on that left side.
Good blocking. Pillow outside. He gets by Karazakis, and Pillow will have the first down and more. Gus Karazakis had him almost, but a great burst of speed by Pillow gets him around the corner for a big gain of 18 yards and a first down.
Well, Mike Pillow going for 18 yards there proved that he does have some speed, because he went back, he wanted to throw this ball over the middle, but the receiver was covered and started to the outside, and he just did a great job of getting to the outside, number 43, chasing him down, Karazakis, and couldn't quite find him.
So it's first down, Gators at the 18-yard line. And this is Harris And he's tripped up at about the line of scrimmage. Keith Kelly, number 34.
Great defensive play by number 45, Rob Bredin, the senior from Peterborough, who is in his final year and an all-star. He came up, made great penetration, and forced that play back inside where the tackle was made by the pursuing lineman.
Kelly, a 6.6-yard average all season, but having problems today. 5.4-yard average, so it's not as bad as it sounds, even though he was held to a very short gain there. Oh, definitely movement, and Mike O'Byrne was already making his second block before the ball was snapped.
And unfortunately, when a guy like that jumps, then it's
We have procedure
the right tackle.
on Western.
Silvano Torn and the defensive end, Doug McKenzie, who got into a little pushing match because they don't know what's going on, but he did definitely jump.
Mike O'Byrne, the offensive right guard. A little bit quick. Well, different quarterback, sometimes that can happen.
Exactly, Peter. It could be a different quarterback, a little different cadence, and he jumped certainly that time. There was no question that he did move first.
So instead of 2nd and 10, it's 2nd and 15. And you can bet that they'll take all 3 downs even if they don't make it here. So if they can make up half of that here, that's what they would like to do. Pillow, the quarterback, has a widespread formation left and wants to go left. Gets inside and is brought down. Big defensive play by Todd Barter, number 63. Flag on the play as well.
That was a late flag, Peter, so I'm not sure what that is. It was, again, well after the play had stopped.
Dunthorne, the linebacker, indicating that it's against Bishop. And that's the way they're marching.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, spiking the ball.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, spiking the ball in the college game and on the quarterback. They'll lose the down as well, bringing up 3rd down and about 25 or 30 yards to go. So I'm not sure that they're not going to maybe go for a field goal here.
Well, I would think that they'd be wise to think that over, and in fact, that is what they're going to do. Simon Resto comes in. He'll have the ball spotted at the 38. Snap is good. Kick is up. It's wide right. And the Huskies, I'm sure, will concede. They do just that. So the Gators do get on the board first in the second half, but it's only with a single point.
Peter, you have to look at 3 rather interesting penalties that the Gators have had against them. The 2 rough calls in the first half against number 10, and then number 11, I should say, Gilmore. And then that particular spiking of the ball put them out of position where it gave the coach a chance to maybe go on 3rd down in that close. So you have to look at that poise of this Gator team at this stage of the game.
Ball comes out to the 35-yard line after the single off the wide field goal. Chris Flynn fakes the pitch out to Matzett, gets away from Joseph, and Chris Flynn on the run. Leroy Blue, number 89, along with help from Gilmore, brings him down, but that'll be close to the first down, if not a first down for the Huskies.
About an inch.
Well, he has a lot of moves. He fakes out to the left here and comes around, and it's all legs and arms. You know, you don't see too much. There it is, a little bit of stretch there. He just has that feeling that someone was behind him, gave that little deep, a little jerk, and moved downfield for almost 10 yards.
Just inches short of a first down and a perfect gamble situation. Nope, this time we'll just go for the first. Picks up the necessary yardage. You can bet that Bishop fans across the country, alumni and that, will be still hoping, though, Russ. This kind of a game, you never know.
You never give up. You need a couple of breaks. They're back to Acadia last week when they were almost snowed under, and they came back and made a ball game out of it against St. Mary's, and you're sure that the coaching staff is reminding the St. Mary's Huskies of that game last week as well.
First down for Chris Flynn and the Huskies at the 47-yard line. Flynn wants to throw, has all kinds of time, cuts back up the middle, and he'll have to bail out. But still, even when he scrambles and goes down, picks up very decent yardage, gain of 4 yards on the play.
It's interesting, Peter, they've been trying to isolate Matt Nealon out there, number 70, who isn't one of their primary receivers. He's a starter, but the other 3 receivers are really head and shoulders above him in terms of catches. But the last 2 plays, they must feel they can isolate him on that defensive corner over there, but they haven't got the ball to him, and Flynn has had to run both of them.
Pitch out, almost fumbled by Matsit. Second effort, this time he does fumble it. And with room down the sideline, Martin Haynes finally gets back to the 30-yard line.
Well, there's one of those situations where you got the Argo bounce once. Matsit fumbled the ball, he got the ball back, and then when he tried to get the first down, he dropped it this time, and Martin Haynes, number 30, picked it up and ran it into the 31-yard line. So here we have the Bishops Gators in good field position with the score Huskies 24 and the Gators 3. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, there he is, the man of the hour right now, Martin Haynes, number 30, who had the fumble recovery and a very decent run back. It has given the Gators first down at the 30-yard line. Mike Pillow still in at quarterback. Instructs Quigg to move out further to the right side in the slot, and a straight deep drop. Fires it right, going for Quigg, and it's a touchdown. 31-yard touchdown, David Quigg from Mike Pillow. The turnover capitalized into 6 points quickly.
Well, Mike Pillow, a quarterback from Glen Forest High School in Mississauga, coached by a good buddy of mine, Arn Fife, down there, has just come out here in his third quarter and thrown the ball with real authority. He's got a lot of confidence out there. Has caught David Quigg a couple of times. This time, caught Quigg going down the right sideline, and he was in behind that Husky defense by about 5 or 6 yards when he caught the ball over number 22, John Wedderburn.
And I think also some good field generalship by Pillow. He didn't like where Quigg was standing before the snap of the ball, told him to move 2 or 3 yards further out to the right. That's exactly what he did, and he hit him wide open.
Dave Quigg, you guys got a major on the board.
Yeah, it's good to see. We've got a while to go yet.
What's the game plan now?
To win. We've got to come back.
You're going to be passing the ball more? You're going to be expecting more passes?
That way, because they're expecting to run. And we had to come out passing in the second half. Take advantage of it, because they're rushing us a lot.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
David Quigg, who scored the touchdown on the perfect pass from Mike Pillow. The Gators get something going. 24-10.
You have to start to wonder if the Huskies are starting to think Acadia again from last week, because this is exactly what happened when Acadia came out, had to throw that ball in the second half, and scored some touchdowns on long passes just like that.
The excitement level in the booth goes up every time the Gators do something like that, because, of course, Rob Layden, our statistician, his son Robbie was a player at Bishops under Bruce Kohler, so we get pushed around a little bit when Bishops does something right. I've got a very good buddy as well back in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Dave Cooper, who I used to teach high school phys ed with. Russ, that was a player at Bishops, and I know he hasn't given up on these guys yet either. McDonald takes the ball at his goal line, cuts up the middle, and is brought down at the 29-yard line. And the Huskies, who had the turnover on their last possession, which led to a touchdown by Pillow. 24-10 now.
Well, you always wonder when these running teams such as the Bishops are, the Gators offensively have to come out and throw that ball, what will happen? Well, Pillow has proven he can throw that ball and he can get receivers open.
Could be a shootout here in the second half. No, on the reverse, Schollard cuts back in the middle, and Gilmore, number 11, makes the tackle. And that could be for, at best, a gain of a yard, but very close to the line of scrimmage. In fact, that's where they'll mark it.
Derek Joseph, that all-star defensive end, did a great job of penetrating there, turned that play inside. Gilmore, who had the 2 bad penalties, those roughing penalties, made a great play to tackle him in the open field. But outstanding play by Joseph, who just, to me, shows a great deal of poise and confidence and a great deal of ability at that defensive end spot.
Flynn in the straight drop, fires right side, and that is complete to McDonald, who reaches forward for the first down.
Well, Derek Joseph playing to the wide side of the field, put a little pressure on Flynn, but he had a lot of time to get that ball out there with that semi-rollout. And again, slipping as they received the ball out there. That turf is a little wet. And once you go down, once you caught that ball, you're dead. But he did have the first down by about a yard. But in college ball, even though you haven't been touched by a defensive player, if the knees touch the ground, the ball is dead right there.
First down, Huskies. Ball at their own 41-yard line. Flynn sprinting left, will run. Gets outside one man, ducks through two more, and is finally brought down by Leroy Blue after a gain of 14 yards on the play. And that will give St. Mary's yet another first down.
Just a great burst of speed. Flynn came out there, and that is almost a design rollout. And he shows great burst of speed and sprinting between number 29, Doug Stamper, and number 11, Vic Gilmore. Right there. He just went right between the two of them and picked up another 7 or 8 yards. And that's just the outstanding athletic ability that this young man has. Number 1, Chris Flynn.
82 yards now. The scrambling Chris Flynn has picked up on the ground. This time the quarterback draw. There's a penalty right up the middle, likely a holding call, and it is against St. Mary's. So a 12-yard gain goes for naught.
Holding! St. Mary's!
Wow, Chris Flynn has just taken over this ball game offensively now and saying, I'm going to do it. But a great call there. Drop back, a quick quarterback draw, with the holding call on the offensive guard as he tries to push him to the outside. On the left of your screen there, number 42. Caught for holding as they try and just force the defensive tackle to the outside to give Chris Flynn that alley up the middle. But Flynn seemed to have said, well, I'm going to take over the offense by myself right now.
First down and 20 as the ball comes all the way back to the 46-yard line of St. Mary's. Flynn passing in this ball game, 10 completions in 15 attempts, 2 touchdowns included in that. Little screen over the middle, and that's dropped by Jody Hubert. It was almost a flare pass as much as a screen, and it just went off his fingertips.
Well, Jody Hubert is the big blocking back. He goes about 230 pounds, but he doesn't have the best hands, I understand, from offensive coordinator Billy Robinson, but he made one catch last week that turned him into a receiver for them. So they tried to get the ball to him on a bit of a sprint out there, but just throwing a little too far ahead of him.
So it'll be second down and 20. Constant Nicolopoulos is the center. Mario Vanni and Louis Olsacher, the all-star guard. And Richard McLean and Scott Nuttall, the tackles. Screen this time. Comes out to Williams. Williams gets one block, but he blocked him right back into the tackler. So, not exactly what he hoped to do.
Pretty poor running there by Williams. It was a good block by number 29, Doug Stamper, and he had to cut back to the inside, but instead he chose the outside route, and Stamper was blocked right into him and made the tackle.
Mike Korecki was in at guard on that play, and that's exactly what Mike did. He made his block, but he wasn't read quite properly by Williams. Back to punt, Bill Scholar, number 15. 37.6-yard average throughout the year. He's punting into the wind. 29.8-yard average today. Almost blocked. Big kick. Comes down to Schumann, number 49, and Brennan has him, but then loses him. And finally, Dunthorpe comes in and finishes off the tackle that was started by Brennan. Louis Olsacher in there as well on the stop. And there's an injured Gator back around the 53-yard line. The score, SMU 24, Bishops 10. We'll be back after this. Coach Ian Breck and the Bishop Gators looking out to the field where Mike Pillow is in at quarterback and put 6 points on the board for the Gators in his last possession. 24-10. Ball at the 42-yard line. He got the 38-yard line. Pillow straight back. Now the sprint is on. He better get rid of it soon. Gus Karazakis has just registered the longest sack in history.
That's got to be about a 35
yards.
36-yard, how Aiden tells us, sack. But unfortunately for Mike Pello, he just couldn't shake loose. There were too many guys in there. But Gus Karazakis came in initially as a blitzing linebacker. He missed him. But every time the young quarterback, Mike Pello, turned around, there was another white shirt there, and he just kept retreating. And he had a chance to look downfield, but there was no one to throw the ball to, and he would have been called for intentional grounding.
Well, I've been around the CFL for a lot of years, Russ, 15 maybe. I've never seen 2nd and 45. You've played it for a long time. Have you ever seen that?
I don't think so. The coach might not like it.
I don't think a quarterback draws the play here. Well, on 2nd and 45, the pass over the middle intended for Quigg is incomplete, and that will bring up 3rd and 45.
Well, Pillow really gets rocked on this play, too. That's twice in a row now. They were figuring, well, if you're going to throw that ball, we're going to come after you a little bit. And this time they got into him again and really put the shot to him.
I'm sure that Mike will have a little discussion on the sideline there about dumping that ball off in that situation next time.
Yeah, you got to find
I'd rather
somebody
take
earlier.
a 10-yard penalty even for intentionally grounding it, but here comes the rush, and it's a bouncing kick that will come down at about the 35, goes over Karen's head. Now he picks it up, and a great open field hit. Flag down on the play, though.
Probably going to be a no yards penalty as that ball took a high bounce after just getting it over the line of scrimmage with a sort of a number that looked like he kicked it off his knee.
Paul McHenry, number 28, who made the tackle, is charged with no yards. And we'll watch it again. It bounces up over his head. Did he touch it? Yes, he did. I'm not so sure about that.
That's a close call as he touched it. It's one of those the official has to make, and he decided it was a no yards call.
And that will give the Huskies a first down inside the 30 at the 27-yard line. Here comes the blitz by Blue. They pick it up. Intended for McDonald. Complete. No, incomplete. Had it in his hands. Stripped by Haynes, who had the big fumble recovery earlier.
That's a great defensive play by Martin Haynes, number 30, is in the rollout position. McDonald had all kinds of time. He went downfield. He took Haynes to the inside and then cut out just to the goal line. And the ball was laid out perfectly by Flynn. But Haynes just reached it at the last minute and knocked it away.
2nd and 10. Nicolopoulos couldn't remember the snap count. Came back and asked the quarterback. Flynn puts it up left side, complete to Scollard. And Scollard's inside the 15, down to the 12-yard line.
Gus Karyazakis, Mike Pillow is running for his life. Yeah, you got him.
Yeah, I was going for a strip the ball first. I missed him. Then I just stayed on my side, play safe, and he ended up coming my way.
Could you believe that he took such a loss on it?
Yeah, he's another, like, almost trying to be like Chris Flynn, I think. Hi, Mom and Dad. I want to say thank you.
All right,
say Mom and Dad, too, eh?
Hey, yeah.
Not just hi,
Everybody
Mom.
says hi, Mom. Ball inside the 15 after a 15-yard pickup by Scollard. Fakes the pitch out to Matzett. Flynn will run it himself. Can he get it in, though? No, he doesn't even try. Takes it out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
I'll tell you, Peter, if he'd looked over the center, number 73 had started from the right slot back position, and that he came back over the middle, and there wasn't a Gator within 15 yards of him in the end zone. But again, as Billy Robinson mentioned to me, they are designed running plays they have for Chris Flynn. He doesn't go out there looking for the pass, and that's what's made it seem like St. Mary's is more a passing team, because every time Flynn runs, people say it must be a broken play.
Oh, they can do it on the ground as well. Now there's movement. And from initial indication, the man who was open, Smith, may have been the man that jumped.
Illegal procedure. Wait.
Here's that concentration that offensive line must have. Here you are at about the 5-yard line, a 2nd and 1 situation, and you get illegal procedure, and now you move back to a 2nd and 6 or 7 situation.
Matzett limps out of the lineup. Hubert comes in.
Still have to question him playing at this stage of the ballgame.
Second down and 6. Flynn throws, and it's batted away at the line of scrimmage. Ray Bernard, number 95. In to knock that one away.
Oh, Bernard up there about 6'2", 6'3", just reached up and knocked it right back at Chris Flynn as he tried to make just a quick out pattern for that first down or the touchdown. And now the Huskies will have to probably settle for a field goal.
Well, the Gator defense holds, and that will bring Jerry Foster in. He puts his kicking tee down at about the 16-yard line. Tough angle. Scullard to hold. Drills that one through the middle. So the score, SMU 27 and Bishop's 10. Will be. Well, they're not staging another battle to protect the harbor at Halifax, Russ, but that cannon's a little bit dangerous after these touchdowns and field goals.
Well, it looks straight at us almost, and every time they score, the Huskies do, they shoot that thing, and we sort of duck a little bit when we hear the sound.
Well, they might have to get ready to pack that thing up and drag it to Toronto. 27-10, the Huskies well in front now. Pillow, straight drop. He's hit just as he throws it. Great pass right over the middle, but incomplete as the Tilney just couldn't quite cut to the ball. It looked like he had the great angle on it, but it's just out of his reach. Flag in the play anyway.
Well, Pillow has really impressed me. He stood right in there, even though he has been hit the last couple of times out there with the big loss, and then he got hit in the end zone. But he stood right in there this time with the pressure coming on and delivered that ball downfield, and he just missed the Tilney. If he caught up with that ball, another couple of steps, he'd gone for another 7 points. So Pillow impresses me a great deal the way he's standing in there, although the scramble and losing that 35 yards wasn't what you might say being impressive.
The penalty on the play was a procedure called. Mike Swan, the wide receiver on the right side, was not up on the line of scrimmage, and so therefore they had too few players on the line. It would have wiped out the completion had it been caught. Instead, it now just becomes 2nd down and 10.
And we're in the last minute of this third quarter, which means that the Bishop Gators will be giving up this wind advantage in about 45 seconds.
Well, they managed to get the one touchdown, but that was it. Tipped and intercepted. Cecil Curry, number 10, the benefit of the tip drill that you see the coaches work on in practices.
Well, it's tough to work on that one. That ball was tipped twice before it got to Curry. It was thrown on a line over the middle. It looked just like the pass that they completed to Quigg early in that touchdown drive. He tipped it, a Husky player tipped it, and finally it ends up in Cecil Curry, number 10's hand, about 30 yards downfield. But there's tipped once, then it's going to be tipped again, and now Curry says, look what got to me finally.
And Fitzsimmons was there as well. One of them was bound to get it. Here's Matset around the left side, and he has a good game. Give him 8 yards on that play, maybe 7. Oh, we see that George Cootie's gone downstairs from our broadcast booth.
Well, I guess Halloween's about 2 weeks late down here in Halifax. Although he probably started to walk from Toronto on Halloween night.
Second down and 3.
Well, turnovers continue to plague the Bishop Gators. They had not given the ball up a great deal during the season. But in this particular game, the Huskies have taken advantage of quite a few of those turnovers.
Flynn with the handoff to Matset. Matset, second effort, but I don't think it's going to get him there. Now, what do you do on 3rd and 1, Russ? You're way up in the ball game. That's the last play of the quarter, so they'll have some time to think about it. The score after 3 quarters of play, St. Mary's 27, Bishop's 10, the 4th quarter right after this. Some of the best seats in the house right behind Gus Karazakis there. Big apartment complex, a residency on campus, overlooks the field.
I'm sure there are a few parties going on in each of those apartments over there right about now.
They're probably watching us while they're enjoying this game. Scullard nails the punt with the win. Schumann in his own end zone. Decides to bring it back and doesn't get far as a great tackle by the outstanding linebacker, Scott Dunthorne, number 40.
Well, I'm not sure, Peter, whether that ball carried into the end zone, but if it did, you have to question him bringing that out and not giving up the single point.
Well, the momentum took him in. The punt didn't take him in. First downs, look at the Gators now. Averaged it all up, but they still trail in total yards, and the turnovers are the big factor. 130 yards by the Gators in that quarter alone. That's their best showing. In the second quarter, 130. Took a total of 210 now. And they've evened out the statistical sheet a little bit, but the score sheet not so significantly evened out. The Gators have been trying to go to the pass in this second half, and that was only their second running play.
Well, Keith Kelly trying to get them out of their shadow of their own goal line is having some difficulty, as this Husky crowd now has started to sense that there just might be a trip to Toronto next week, and they're starting to get back into this ball game.
The Gator quarterbacks Pillow and Martell only 4 of 14 passing, while Flynn is 12 of 20 for St. Mary's. Pillow will roll left, use the goal post as an extra blocker, has pressure and throws it away. There's no receiver anywhere near where he threw the ball, but no flag.
Well, as he rolled out to the left there, he looked number 40, Scott Dunthorne, right in the eyes. Nobody had touched Dunthorne, and he had to reverse field and go back the other way, and there were no potential receivers over there. And as Peter, you mentioned, he was fortunate he didn't get called for intentionally grounding the ball.
I think after being sacked for 36 yards, his coaches might have insinuated to him that it would be best to unload it in those situations.
Well, he learned quickly. Some of the Gators late getting in here now. Number 92, one of the blockers, and the punter, number 61.
Could be close to a time count violation. It's 3rd down and 12. And that's what's happening.
I think they're confused about whether they've started the play or not. Most of the people thought the referee was blowing the whistle that they had too long in the huddle, and he was just blowing play in.
Had all kinds of time to get ready.
That's right.
Morley gives up the safety. So Brian Morley, the kicker, on instructions from the sideline, gives up 2 points. They will now have to kick it off. And when you're down by 17, I guess 19 isn't, you still need 3 touchdowns.
Well, I guess they felt that they couldn't get that ball out maybe past the 25-yard line, and they feel that they're almost going to concede a field goal to them. So maybe we've saved 1 point by giving them 2.
Yep. And the wind has died down significantly since the start of the game, so it is not as big of a factor as it was early. And even though they're going into the wind, the task won't be as impossible as it might have been earlier.
Well, I always felt when I played out there, once you started in a wind game, you always felt it was there. Even though it died down a little bit, you had that tendency to feel all through the game that you're either going with the wind or against the wind. And right now, the Gators have that impression. They are going against the wind. Although the flag is pretty dead out there on the flagpole, not showing a great deal of wind. They have a choice here after the safety touch of punting the ball or kicking it off from the tee, and it appears that they are certainly going to kick it off with number 10. The guy who has that big footer there is Simon Restall, kicking off from the 35-yard line after the conceded safety touch. And certainly, wind or no wind, he certainly has been able to kick the ball further than the punter has.
Well, Morley, as you said, he gets the reverse spin in the ball with the left foot, but he hasn't got the great distance.
He hasn't had, not today.
And Restall, although now he's into the wind, yesterday was booing them 65 yards with the wind. Larry Utek yelling from his bench for his receivers to move up a little bit. Let's see if it was a smart move. No, because that will go deep. Karen, number 21, inside the 40-yard line, gets outside of the 45, and that's where he will be stopped in a hurry. Number 83 of the Bishop's Gators, Pat Gregory, in on the stop. So the Huskies will take the ball at their own 44-yard line, leading by 19. A trip to Toronto on the line with 13 minutes and 20 seconds to go, where they will face, should they hold on here, the winner of the Western Calgary game for the Vanier Cup. Flynn tries to get it underneath to Smith. And he's covered on the play by Gilmore.
Peter, it's interesting to see the choice of plays here now by Chris Flynn and certainly the offensive coordinator Billy Robinson and Larry Utek, the head coach, that they're still throwing that ball. They feel very comfortable in throwing the ball. They've done it all year. They feel that they can move the ball that way. And I know in talking to Billy last night, he said, we can throw that ball even when we get ahead. We feel comfortable that Flynn won't throw the ball away and make the bad play. They feel he's matured that much in the 2 years he's been here.
Straight drop. Flynn right side, intended for McDonald. He's got it.
Just a great catch.
Flag on the play. He was going to be called for interference, but McDonald makes the catch. 41-yard gain. Flynn to McDonald.
Now Martin Haynes, number 30, has to be saying to himself, what else do I have to do? He had perfect defensive coverage. He was right in the back pocket of McDonald. He had him inside-out coverage, but Flynn laid that ball out there perfectly for McDonald. But Haynes was in perfect position. You couldn't ask for a defensive back to be in better position. As the ball comes down here, he'll be right in McDonald's back pocket. But he did get called. The ball was laid right over his head, and he did put his hand on him a little early and got called for interference.
Flynn, left side. And he's got that to Matt Nealon. And Nealon, who has a touchdown earlier, is within a yard. The Chris Flynn aerial circus.
Well, the more you see of this young man, you realize the talent he really does have. He throws that perfect pass downfield to McDonald, comes back and throws on a line, a string out there to Nealon, who beat Claude Mitten, number 2, to the outside, putting him in a first and goal situation.
Ball at the 1-yard line. Hubert and Williams in the I formation. Flynn carries himself, and no indication that he made it. Following the block of Louis Olsacher, the right guard, Flynn doesn't get in.
Well, they didn't give Flynn very much of a chance there. Both the backs, the split backs, left a little early, and therefore the defensive line knew neither of them were getting the ball. There's only one guy left that can get that ball in the end zone, and that was Flynn, and they really piled up the middle.
And of course, in the Canadian College game, the ball comes back out to the 1. So even though he took it to the goal line, it becomes second and goal from the 1. Flynn throws it over the middle for the touchdown to Bill Scollard. This guy will pass from any place on the field.
But Carlos Blizzard is on there playing in that safety spot. And Scollard, with all his experience, just stepped inside him to the inside. He didn't give him position to play defense, and Flynn got him the ball over the middle.
Well, it's a little early to make the announcement, but I don't believe that there's much doubt as to who the outstanding player in this ball game has been. Injured early, and for a while it appeared that he might not come back. Chris Flynn has been spectacular.
On that last touchdown, you have to give a lot of credit to Scollard, who stepped inside number 17, Blizzard. We don't see him now, but he stepped inside the man who was defending against him and put him on his back, and Chris Flynn laid it over the middle for him. And now, with the score, the Huskies 35 and the Gators 10 in this fourth quarter. We'll be back in a moment.
That's not the nylon singing the na-na-na song in the background, Russ. Just about 6,000 SMU fans. 36-10, they lead Bishops. They're on their way to Varsity Stadium and the Vanier Cup next weekend. Flag on the play as Keith Kelly rounds the corner.
Bill Scollard, that was a nifty little touchdown. Chris Flynn flows over the top, finds you in behind, then you kick to him.
Yeah, we tried it a few times. Chris is pretty acrobatic, and it's worked for us pretty well during the year.
Defense has really done a job for you guys and created so many opportunities.
They've been the story of the game so far this year. All the credit to the defense. Giving the offense a chance to move the ball, and we're doing a good job, too.
You guys have been saying all along we only look one game ahead. I think it's fair to say that at this point you might be able to look ahead to the Vanier Cup. Who do you want to meet in that one?
I don't care, as long as we're there.
Holding was the call against Bishops on that run back by Keith Kelly. This puts it in a proper perspective, Russ. Chris Flynn has thrown for 264 yards. He has run himself for 90 for a total of 354 yards. The Bishop's Gator team has 164 yards offense.
Well, we talked about how much he does for this team, and they had to worry about stopping him, and they just haven't been able to do that. They got him out of the game for a short time, but since he's come back, he's been dynamite.
Mike Pillow scrambling around, and he's brought down from behind as Dunthorpe gets up off the ground to make the sack.
Well, you have to wonder now about the intensity of the Gators, because they only sent 3 receivers downfield, which meant they had 8 people in blocking for that man. And they got in for their 4th sack this afternoon, the Husky defense. And as I say, you have to start to wonder about the intensity now with the score 36-10 and well into this 4th quarter.
Pillow on the drop. Karazakis after him. McKenzie gets to him. It's tipped up, and it goes as an incomplete pass. There's a flag on the play.
Chris Flynn, what a game for you. You took a hit late in the first quarter.
Yeah, the helmet dug into my eye, and it kind of, I was all screwed up for a little while, but it's fine now. And you know, our defense has been playing great, giving the ball to us in great field position all game. And when we get the win in the second and fourth quarter, we've been able to take advantage of it, and that's been the story. But the game's not over yet. We've got to keep going.
Your game plan has worked for you?
Yeah, they're doing well against our run, but my O-line's giving me the time to throw, and that's been the key.
Good luck in the rest of the game.
Thanks.
Punting team comes in for Bishops. Boy, Chris Flynn looked worse than Donnie Lalonde did after Stephen Ray took him out.
Yeah, he looks like he took a good one.
That'll really swell up, and I mean that may affect him, you know, well into this week of preparing for the championship game.
It might affect his practice, but you certainly know he'll be there on Saturday. He'll lose that mouse.
We'll be having the ice pack on that for the rest of the night. Morley into punt. Bounces down at the 45, comes to McDonald. McDonald looks up and sees nothing but purple and silver, and barely gets to the 50. But Chris Flynn, even though they're up by 26 points, remains in the game at quarterback.
Now, this has been the story throughout the year. No matter how much they've been winning by, Chris has played the full offense for them. And as we mentioned, when he did get hurt and Doug Smith had to come in, those were the first snaps he'd taken from center in league action this year.
You have to wonder, though, with so much on the line and that big of a lead, Russ, if we might not see Smith later. Handoff up the middle to Williams, goes nowhere.
Well, I think you might see a little bit more of this with Chris Flynn doing a little less than he has throughout the first part of this ball game. Maybe letting some of his backs do some of the work for him.
Well, with that big of a bulge, I think they would want to just keep the clock running. The only way to do that is by keeping the ball on the ground.
Well, I've been impressed with the way they've neutralized Leroy Blue in that defense, because as you mentioned earlier, he has not been around that ball as much as he has been all year, and I'm sure he's somewhat frustrated out there today.
And you have to give credit to the offensive line of SMU. Matt Nealon with the completion for the first down. You know, we talked about the big front six of Bishops who have just terrorized opposition quarterbacks all year, but they haven't got to Flynn because that offensive line's doing the job.
Well, they've got to him a few times, but his mobility and his ability to escape from them, where he's maybe retreated 15 or 20 yards and turned them into positive plays, does tend to frustrate the defense when you get to him but don't get him down and he does make something out of it.
Flynn sprinting out. That's Blue after him. Blue gets to him, but after he throws the ball, it's an incomplete pass, and Flynn felt that hit.
Well, there's a little sign of maturity. He knew that he was going to get hit. He knew the receiver was covered. He just threw that ball out of bounds, making it into a 2nd and 10 situation rather than possibly throwing an interception or a 2nd and 20 situation. But he did get hit. We mentioned Blue, and he did lay that hit on Flynn pretty well there. And that surface out there, that artificial surface, isn't that easy to follow when you got someone about 230 coming at you.
2nd down and 10. Ball is at the 40. 36-10. SMU leads. Fakes the pitch out. Now with some traffic back there, the sprint is on. And he throws it out of bounds, and there was the difference. We saw the mature quarterback and one who hasn't seen a lot of action. He would have taken a sack for about 30 yards had he not got rid of it.
And the other thing he did, when he threw the ball, he was close to the sidelines, and he didn't stop. He ran about 10 yards out of bounds to make sure that nobody was going to take the shot at him, maybe legally, but he's smart enough to know that once I release that ball, keep on the move.
That offensive line, by the way, has protected Flynn so well. Scott Nuttall and Richard McLean at tackles. Mario Vanni and Louis Olsatcher, the guards. I have Mike Korecki in there from time to time, and Constant Nikolopoulos, the center. Long field goal attempt from 47 yards by Foster. Hits it well. It's to the right. And Schumann, I think, will eventually give up the point, but not without a struggle. So the score, SMU 37 and Bishops 10. We'll be back with more in a moment. 7-10, the Huskies lead the Gators. Peter Young along with Russ Jackson and Paul Meunier at Husky Stadium, where the celebrating has already started. Fans are actually leaving the park early, knowing that the Huskies are on the way to the Vanier Cup. They came so close last year, losing the heartbreaker to McGill. Here's the reverse to Swan. Swan around the right side, and he'll have the first down. Bitter disappointment for Larry Utek and his Huskies last year. The last-second victory gave McGill the Atlantic Bowl and eventually the Vanier Cup. But this year, there's no denying Larry Utek's charges.
The Huskies started slowly in that first quarter, even getting the 2 turnovers and turning it into the 1 touchdown with Flynn maneuvering them into the end zone. But certainly from about the 4-minute mark, with time remaining in that second quarter, it's been all Huskies other than that one drive with the touchdown pass to Quigg.
Pitch out left side. It's fumbled by Kelly. St. Mary's will eventually have it as Dunthorpe tries to lateral it forward, but he finally holds on to the football. Now there was a play. The indication from the SMU players is that it is against.
On Bishops, that's declined. First down.
Well, pretty well put by referee Bill Clendenning, and that means that the turnover stands. So Scott Dunthorne comes up with the fumble recovery.
Here's the pitch out to Keith Kelly, and he never did have that ball. And then when he did finally find it behind him, he was buried by a Husky tackler, and now you see nothing but white uniforms. All the Gators are down blocked, and they don't realize the ball is somewhere about 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Dunthorne, you could see in the replay from that angle, was going to pitch it forward to Gus Karazakis, and then at the last second said, can't do that. Flynn wants to put it up, tries to fake back, and still in the field of play. Now he has somebody open, and he completes it to Hubert. Jody Hubert, the blocking back, and he will have a first down on a broken play. Chris Flynn, who many feel is the outstanding player in this country, certainly showing it today.
There's Hubert showing that great pass receiving ability of his, that blocking.
He still bobbled.
He juggled it. He still juggled a little bit. But watch the head fake here with number 1. He'll fake. We didn't see it. It was before that time, but he had actually faked with his head to get a little bit more time to get the defender going the other way so he could wheel back and find number 32, Hubert.
I like those blocking backs, too. When he caught the ball, he headed straight for the first guy in the opposite color uniform. Scollard has the pass, and another roughing call against Chris Howard in the secondary of Bishops, who drilled Scollard as he went out of bounds.
Well, a great throw by Flynn to Scollard, number 15. He's the punter, but he's been a great receiver this year, catching 23 for over 18 yards for every catch. And we're going to hear the official. We got another unnecessary roughness call.
Unnecessary roughness. Tackling out of bounds. First down.
And that's the frustration starting to show with the Gators, and we can see the party time starting with the Huskies already on the sideline.
So first and goal to go from the 2-yard line. And Williams runs into a wall. Flynn trying to spread it around a little bit right now. 6 minutes left in the ball game. 37-10 the score, and perhaps heading for more. They're getting the cannon all stoked up and ready.
Well, you have to start to wonder now whether he'll run it in or whether he'll throw another pass.
Ball is at the 1-yard line. 2nd and goal to go. Flynn pitches out to Williams. This time he'll walk it in. Celebration on the SMU bench, dejection on the other side.
Well, Hubert got out in front of Williams, and he had nobody to block out there. There was just no purple jerseys out there, as Williams from about the 4-yard line knew no one was going to touch him. He put that ball up in the air in the victory symbol. And that cannon's got to be running out of ammunition.
Six minutes and 1 second remaining at the Atlantic Bowl, with SMU well in front, 44-10. We're back after this. Welcome back to Husky Stadium. St. Mary's clobbering Bishops, 44-10 at this point. The Gators just not the team that they showed to get them this far. Keith Kelly in a mob, stays on his feet. He's hard to bring down. He gets it to about the 17-yard line. Listen to these numbers. Penalties. Bishops, 14 penalties for 105 yards and 7 turnovers. So they've had everything go wrong for them today, Russ.
Well, and that's unusual because Coach Breck, when I spoke to him yesterday, indicated that they were a disciplined team. They don't beat themselves. But when you read those numbers out, sure, Chris Flynn's had a great day and the Huskies have had a great day, but they haven't helped themselves. Let's put it that way.
This will be a long, long 5 minutes and 45 seconds for the Bishop Gators.
Now, this is where poise for these young men is important.
Well, Walker has carried the ball very little in the second half after a great first half. He will have 3 yards on that play, make it 4, 2nd down and 6. Williams had the touchdown after a 3-play drive.
And again, set up by a turnover, that fumble by Keith Kelly.
Second and 6. Pillows, the quarterback, has been the entire second half. Puts it up over the middle, and it's almost intercepted by Fitzsimmons. Patrick Gregory was waiting for the ball. It was underthrown. Gregory actually had a step on Fitzsimmons.
Well, Jim Fitzsimmons, the guy we talked about in the first half, who loves to come up and hit people, he's just playing center field back there now. He's not worried about the running game. He's letting the other people take care of that, just making sure they don't get those long passes.
Final year for Fitzsimmons. I'm sure that there are a number of Canadian Football League teams that will be having a good look at him.
He does like to make contact with people.
Morley back to punt. Into the wind. This time gets a good spiral. That chases the receivers deep. McDonald catches it on the run, though. Has the ball at the 45, and that's where he goes out of bounds. 49-yard punt. And the Huskies trot onto the field with backup quarterback Doug Smith now in control, as Larry Utek says it's time for Chris Flynn to sit and celebrate on the sidelines.
And Larry Utek has to feel really comfortable right now. It was a tough first few years coming in here as head coach with the Huskies, but the last 3 years have been rewarding. They've been working towards this, and they're going to lose a few of these senior players this year, and for them to go to the Vanier Cup is a real tip of the hat to Larry Utek, their head coach.
And the tragedy, of course, of this week as well, that I'm sure is weighing still heavy on his heart. Williams left side. Blue is in there, number 89. Drags him down after a gain of 2 yards on the play. 3 minutes, 55 seconds remaining.
I would think that Argyle Street here in Halifax is going to hum tonight a little bit.
Time count violation called against St. Mary's. Smith on the direct snap. The shotgun formation waited a little too long.
Delay game. Number 12. Down, repeat it.
Billy Robinson was again saying last night, I was asking if Chris Flynn throws from the shotgun. He said Chris likes to take the ball from center and get back, and he feels more comfortable than taking from the shotgun. Whereas we see Doug Smith out here now taking it from the shotgun, and I believe the reason is he hasn't had all that practice at setting up from the T formation situation.
Plus, Flynn is so elusive back there when he's running back, he can fool some people. Long pass over the middle, almost intercepted by Schumann. That brings up a third down situation and will bring in punter Bill Sculler. Close to the 3-minute warning. 44-10, St. Mary's on top, playing out the last few minutes and then getting ready to celebrate tonight and start practicing tomorrow for an appearance next Saturday in the Vanier Cup Championship, which we will have for you here on CTV from Varsity Stadium in Toronto. Pretty good punt against the wind. I should say with the wind. There's the handoff. And not a whole lot of yardage on the play. They try the reverse to Zatilny, Mr. Versatility on this team. And Pillow remains at quarterback.
Well, now Larry Utek and the defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator playing all the players now that they have on their team, giving them a chance to get some time on the field and also give them a chance to say that they did play in this particular Atlantic Bowl championship game.
Yep. A lot of clean uniforms in there right now.
I guess at this time we should say, feeling that St. Mary's is winning, that for all those seniors with the Gators that are retiring, I'm sure they've had a lot of fun playing college football and wish them well in whatever they do next year.
The seniors, of course, has had the great opportunity. Walker's still on his feet. He'll have close to 20 yards in that play. The seniors, of course, had the opportunity to be coached by one of the great coaches in all of CIAU history over the 4 years of their career, so they can look back in pride over what they've accomplished. Walker breaks the 100-yard barrier with that run. He's now up to 112. As they've brought in the championship trophies to the sideline now. Got quite a roar from the St. Mary's fans. Walker just a bowling ball with these last 2 carries. You might think that Larry might put in the starters again pretty soon, Russ.
Well, Chris Howard, number 8, was all alone out there as Walker came around there. He just ran right into him. And Walker, who hasn't been out there too much, realized what was happening.
Come on, Coach, get off the field! Coach, you did get off the field! Come on, get back!
Pillow on the slowly developing draw up the middle because he drove the ball right into the knee pad of Dennis Walker. He still recovered enough to get 3 out of it. 2nd down and 7. One minute, 50 seconds remaining. A year ago, it was a pretty dejected bunch from St. Mary's University when McGill were celebrating at the final gun. It will be a different scene in about 2 minutes' time. Keith Kelly carries close to the 1st down marker. I believe he's short, and I would think that they would obviously go for it. Third down and 1. Keith Kelly, I'm sure disappointed, but what an outstanding season he had running the ball for the Bishop Gators.
Well, when you average 6.6 yards per carry running from that halfback spot, that is an outstanding year. You sometimes have quarterbacks who can gain that much on scrambles, but when the defense is looking for you as a running back, that is an outstanding year.
And it will be Kelly again, this time left side, and he'll have the first down and much more. Whoa, straight arms Kem Walcott.
Good job. Good job.
And he picks up close to 16 yards in the play.
Well, Ken Walcott has tasted both of those running backs in the last few plays. He went head-on with Dennis Walker, and that time, as you say, took a beautiful right straight arm from Keith Kelly as he came around that left end.
You find that so much more now with the big running backs. They get around the corner, and they like to lay a licking on the back, knowing that they're going to get hit themselves.
Oh, they see you coming, and they're lining you up just as much as you're lining them up now.
31 punch. Yeah, 31 punch.
An injured Gator at about the 25-yard line. And it's Dennis Walker, the running back. Coming out, he's had a great afternoon, but in a losing cause.
You okay? Yeah, I'm okay.
As the lack of the passing attack has hurt Bishops when they got down. They could not regroup and stick with their conservative ground game. Couldn't quite play catch-up. First down at the 20. Pillow looking for anybody to give the ball to, and does. Well, it was a bit different. Pillow got outside, and in a desperation move, flipped the ball back.
Well, it seemed like a broken play anyway, because Pillow started to the right. There was no one in front of him. He's carrying the ball. He's the blocker, ball carrying everything. Then he flipped the ball back to number 39, Mike Swan, who tried to gain a few yards, and they lost about 5 on the play. But
Swan was out there blocking.
Snapped, it was gone.
I think Swan was a little surprised he had the ball. Second down and 15. Under a minute to play. The celebration will begin in a few moments on the sideline at Husky Stadium. Big rush by Karazakis, and he has the sack. Gus Karazakis has 2 sacks in this ball game, but they've been for a total of about 50 yards. .39 seconds remaining, and the Gators will simply punt the ball away. And that will mean the Huskies will have to kneel down twice with the ball, and it'll be over. In fact, it might be once by the time they get this one over. Caron takes the ball on the run at his 10-yard line. Flag on the play. And an injured Gator as well. It's almost shake hands time.
Well, it's that feeling of elation for the Huskies and that dejected feeling for the Gators, who have had a great season, but everything is all riding on this one particular game today to go to the Vanier Cup, and it'll be the Huskies there playing either the Western Mustangs or the Calgary Dinosaurs next Saturday afternoon at Varsity Stadium.
And Russ, Paul was mentioning earlier, but it'll be a big week for us there. We have the coaches' dinner, we have the CIAU banquet, the awards banquet, all the All-Stars announced. So all in all, it should be a pretty fun week, all week long in Toronto.
Yeah, and with that final for the East, as you say, coming up on the Sunday, both of them are going to be there.
The Rothmans Porsche Turbo Cup, the Canadian Synchronized Junior Swimming Championships from Montreal, the Miami IndyCar Challenge, and Thomas the Hitman Hearns takes on James the Heat Kinchin from Las Vegas, Nevada. I was at that fight last week. I'll bet you on that one. I'll take Hearns.
You will.
I'll take Hearns, yeah.
But I bet he didn't look very good when he finished it.
Well, sometimes a picture says a whole lot more than words, and I think all you have to do is look at the dejection of the Bishop bench to know the feeling they have. Too many men on the field was the call against St. Mary's, so they'll kick it again. 24 seconds left. Flynn finished off 17 of 29 for 303 yards.